Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
This is the next church on February 28, 2020, 7:44 p.m. How, does the FBI find people? And people's misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E.
I object.
Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
What more do you need to see?
I have no idea who is first in chat. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. I was eating lunch, then right when I was supposed to come back live on the stream, Mrs. R.A. came home, and she had went to the store, so I've been carrying groceries in. And then while I was outside carrying groceries in, I thought, well, I'm out. I know I'm late. Well, I'm out here. I need to put some what? What is back? Okay, I needed to put some birds food out for the birds because they'd eaten all of it. But I'm here now. I'm here. All right. Let's see. Ayden. Holy cow. I'm not sure who was first in chat, but Ayden says, "Happy Friday, friends. Just getting the Manic Attic ready for some fellas coming through for the Final Four weekend. You all know the drill. Go Duke. 2 more games and Christmas comes early this year for the victors." Ayden, good luck to your team. Good luck. You've made it this far. Why not go all the way? That's awesome. Congratulations in advance. Let's see. I had a buffer sound somewhere, and I don't know what it was for or who it was. I'm looking. Just 1 second. It was Regina Crawford. Okay, Regina, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. You were actually first, so I'm welcoming you as the first person to join the live stream chat, and also to break the stillness of the silence. The afternoon was quiet. It was calm. You came in. You said something. I don't know what it was, but you said it and broke the silence. We're going to punish you for that and hold you responsible for everything IP-related worldwide. So the internet is yours. And all your friends, as you can see here, outed you. They threw you right under the bus. So who needs enemies, right? Who needs enemies? Yeah, Regina, you're going to do great today. Congratulations. You are internet winner, and you've even owned up to it. So congratulations. It's going to be awesome. All right. Is this the last day of trial? I don't think so. I think, first of all, I think defense is definitely going to put on at least one witness because she got a retrial for ineffective assistance of counsel for the fact that her previous lawyer in the first trial did not put on a fire expert. So we know they're going to do at least that, right? But anyway, we're going to be going to court here in just a moment. And when we do, let's see, we'll be picking up. By the way, did you guys like the reminder, all chat, top chat buffer? I do, but I can't, on this screen, I can't scroll back more than like 60 chats. The buffer is short on this screen. It's just the way the app works, unfortunately. I am on live chat, so let's see. We need the buffer overlay. There we go. Made up words counter is at 30. Did you guys figure out what the missing word was? I've got 29 on the image. Actually, let's see if I can pull that image up right now for you. Just 1 second. It's going to be in downloads. I think desktop maybe. Downloads. By date. There it is. Triple threat. We're going to replace the Wavy Road picture. Okay, here we go. Here's our picture as we have it right now of the triple threat murder retrial with the words on the screen. I'm seeing ladies and gentlemen's nuke you lus, privity, scratching, ambulance, geographics, ecoline, use, guesstimation, antihistamine, urine, chromatology, specifically impinging, not impinging, flammable, simplicit, excavate, corroborate. We've got nucleus on there twice. Ambulance, without the M. Portfolio. Offstandish. Heisted. Carbureted. I think it might have been carbureted. Across. Especially. VCH instead of VCR. Rapey. Refrigerator. And nucleus. I think we got nucleus on there twice. So we need to find out what the missing word is. We're missing scintilla. Scintilica. Carol, absolutely. We're missing scintilica. How did we miss my favorite word? Red pen, we found it. Well, I didn't find it. Carol found it. Let's take one of the nucleuses off and instead put scintilica on. Red pen says fixed it already. Got it. So wonderful. All right, we're going to be going back to court here in just a minute. You can't make this stuff up, but they did. They made all those up. Here we are. As a matter of fact, we're back. Perfect timing. See, I'm not late. Mrs. R.A. did not get Deer Park water.
Back on the record, in the case of People versus Linda Stermer, counsel are present. Ms. Stermer is present. Any matters to address before we bring in the jury?
I have none, Your Honor.
None, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll bring in the jury.
Is it in you? Yes, it is. Not a sponsor, by the way. Not a sponsor. This Gatorade is not invisible. It's actually yellow. Okay. Kristen, member for 9 months, says, Recovery Addict, what candle scents do you and Mrs. R.A. like? My wife is a candle maker. We want to send you a gift. I'm not a big fan of strong smelling candles, but we do really appreciate, I think some of our favorites are some of the more of the Christmas themes, so like the pine scent. More natural, not a lot of fruity
Welcome back,
stuff.
jury. Ms. Ayden, you may call your next witness.
Your Honor, people call Kathy Ilg to the stand, please.
A faint vanilla, like a soft one. The strong ones are a little much for us. Not a pickle. Not a pickle.
Before you have a
Do not do
seat,
that.
I'll have you face me, please, and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat, and once you're settled, we'll have you give us your full name and spell the last. And if you can move that microphone toward your mouth, that will help.
Kathy Ilg, I-L-G.
Thank you. Ms. Ayden?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thought she was
Ms.
St. Gifford.
Ilg, do you know a Linda Stermer?
Yes.
How do you know Linda Stermer?
We had a mutual friend, Kate Fox.
Do you recall when you first met her?
It was probably about a year before the fire.
So sometime in 2006?
Yes.
And did you spend time with Ms. Stermer?
I've only spent time with her maybe 3 times.
And would that have been before the fire or after the fire?
2 times, I believe, before the fire, and 1 time after the fire.
What was the first time? What did you guys do?
Went over there to see the curly horses. They were beautiful. Curly horses. Horses with curly hair.
I didn't know that was a thing. Beautiful curly horses. Not on my bingo
So you
card.
went over to her home and saw the horses?
Yes.
And at that time, was it just you and Linda, or were there other people there?
Kate was there, and I believe her daughter Kelsey was there, and the second time I went, her husband was there.
Okay. And then what did you do the second time you went over there?
Same thing, went to see the horses, but I went in and Linda introduced me to her husband. I said hello. He was working on the house.
And so that was, do you recall how close of time that was before the fire?
Couple months.
And then you weren't there then anymore prior to the fire?
No.
I'm Googling
And then
it
you
now.
said you had met Linda one time after the fire?
Yes, after the house had burned, there was no way to contain the horses and to water them and feed them because the water wasn't working. So one of the horses was coming to my house. Litzy was the horse's name. And we went over there, me, Kate, her brother Steve.
When you say brother Steve, was that Kate's
Kate's
brother
Steve, to take apart the back deck so that we could build a lean-to at my house, because horses have to have a place to go inside.
And they didn't have one of hers.
And so you were assisting her then with getting those materials so you could take the house? Or take the horse?
Yes.
Okay. And were there, when you were at the house with Miss Stermer after the fire, did she ask you to help her move any items?
We had gone in the shed to look for something. I don't even remember what. Might have been tools to help tear down the back deck. It was a really tall deck.
And then, did you find anything in the shed?
Well, I thought it was odd that there were the children's school pictures. You know how you frame them and you have for kindergarten through whatever grade. They were stacked up in there, and I was kind of concerned about them because of mice and rats. Then I wondered what they were doing in the shed, and that it was good they didn't burn, but that they weren't in the house.
How did they get out?
So you found it, you questioned why they were in the shed with mice versus in the house.
Correct.
Oh, man, you're repeating her answers, and I get you're just trying to clarify, but I think no objections. No,
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. And did you say something to Linda about those pictures that you saw?
Yeah, I just said, those pictures out there, maybe we need to move those out of there.
Did she tell you why the pictures were in the shed?
Nope, and I didn't ask any more after that.
She didn't tell you how they got there?
No.
Did she ever ask you to go into the rubble of the house?
She had gone in to look for something. I used to be a firefighter in South Haven, and I knew it wasn't a good idea to go into a house that had been that destroyed by fire. So when she went in to look for something, I thought she said her rings. I said I didn't think it was a good idea to go in there, so I did not go in.
Did she go in?
Yes, she did.
Did she tell you what she was looking for?
I thought she said rings and some cup that was in the dishwasher.
Did she say why she was trying to find a cup in the dishwasher?
She didn't say. No.
Somebody else did.
At some
Linda is
point,
glaring at
then,
her.
did you drive her van that day?
Yeah, I went to get something to drink, and drove into town to the gas station and got something to drink for everybody.
And this is after she told you she was going into the house to look for rings?
Yes.
And did you see anything in the van?
I seen a bunch of jewelry in the, they have those little cubby places where you can put like your phone, but this was older van. And the jewelry was sitting there, and I wondered if that was her jewelry. So when I got back, I said to her, there's jewelry in the van.
What'd she say?
That wasn't the ones she was looking for.
Did she ever tell you about how the fire started?
No, I never asked.
And she never told you anything?
No.
Did she ever tell you from the time you met her up until recently if they'd had any physical violence between the two of them?
She did not know.
Did you ever see any marks on her?
No.
Were you involved a little bit with the horses in terms of talking to her about horses?
Only the days that I'd been there.
Did she ever tell you if she went out of state to get these horses, or?
Yeah.
What'd she tell you?
that her and Kate would go pick up horses in different states and places because I believe she was a curly horse rescue.
And did she say she'd be out of town for very long?
They'd be out of town for sometimes a day, sometimes not. It depended upon how far they had to go.
Do you know if Linda had a cell phone?
Yes, she had two, a matter of fact.
She had two? How do you know she had two cell phones?
Because I got a call from some number and a message had been left, and I asked Kate what was going on because that wasn't the normal phone number that Linda called from. And Kate just said it was her other phone.
I'm going to stop you there, yeah. So you got a number. Did you call that number back?
No.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Not much to cross-examine her on. She gave just very direct answers that she witnessed. Let's see what they can do. Those curly horses are dang cute. I never knew they existed. They do look like a poodle. It's like a cross between a horse and a poodle, but it's all horse, just poodle hair.
Excuse me.
You all right? You need some water or something?
No.
You have only been to the Stermer house 3 times, am I right?
Correct.
2 before the fire, 1 after the fire.
Correct.
And Steve Benny is your friend? I mean, is Kate Fox's brother?
Kate Fox and I were friends.
Okay. Were you friends with Steve Benny too? And his wife?
I knew him. I'd been to his house.
Have you done favors for Steve Fox, like boarded horses or anything like that?
For whom?
Steve Benny. Sorry.
No.
Okay. Did you ever board horses for Linda Stermer after the fire?
Yes.
As a favor to Steve and Tina?
No, as a favor to Linda.
The jewelry you said you found, ma'am, I take it to be in the center console of the van?
It's not council.
Yeah.
Console.
Right.
Up by the radio.
You don't know that that's all the jewelry that Linda Stermer owned, right?
No, I do not.
Okay. Did she tell you she was, strike that. Do you know whether she had like wedding rings in the house that she had lost in the fire?
She said that's what she said she went in for a ring. She didn't tell me what ring it was.
In and around May of 2007, about 4 months after the fire, you were very close friends with Kate Fox, right?
Correct.
And you've been close friends with Kate Fox since before the fire, right?
Correct.
And if Kate Fox asked you to do favors, you would do favors for Kate Fox, right?
Depends on the favor.
Okay, well, did you act as a go-between between Kate Fox and the police with regard to Linda Stermer?
No, I only talked to the police once.
You talked to the police once and told the police in an anonymous call that you had a friend who needed to talk to them?
It was not anonymous, and I told them that they needed to speak to Kate Fox.
Okay. Were you doing a favor for Kate Fox at the time?
No.
Did you ever ask Kate Fox, why didn't you call the police yourself?
No. This was like as soon as I heard about the fire.
So within a week or so? It's a small town, you must have heard about it right away.
Yeah. I think it was a while ago. I know that it wasn't because I talked to Kate.
You talked to the police within a week or so of the fire, am I right?
Correct.
Okay. Wouldn't have been in May of 2007, right?
Perhaps.
All right. Would it be fair to say, ma'am, that 18 years after this fire, your memory is not as good now as it was back then?
As far as dates.
And your testimony to our jury is that you did not act as a go-between, am I right?
Correct.
You don't know why there were any pictures in that shed, am I right?
No.
You never spoke to Steve Benny about it?
No.
You never spoke to the Stermer sons about it?
No, I don't even know who they are.
Okay. You've never even met them?
No, they weren't at the house when I came there.
See, they have nothing they can get her on. She's a great witness.
1 second, Your Honor.
Great witness has no reason to lie one way or the other. Just recalls what happened. Excuse me. This is a bad look. It's a bad look for Linda. Things that she values were taken out of the house apparently before it burned.
Man, when Linda Stermer went in the house, Steve Benny was with her as well, right? He was sifting through things.
I don't recall.
Don't know one way or another?
No.
When exactly did you go to the Stermer house and drove the Stermer van?
The day that it was after the fire, the tape was still around the house, and I had asked did she have permission to go into the house because I used to be a firefighter, so I knew you couldn't go in. And she said yes. And
who said that?
Linda had said that she had permission to go in.
Okay.
And the van was there?
How many days after the fire? Is this immediately after the fire?
It was within a week or two because the horses, Litzy needed water. There was no way to get water to them because without electricity, the pumps didn't work.
Okay. So within 7 to 14 days of this fire, you drove the Stermer van to a gas station?
Correct.
Okay, there's a problem.
Linda, as you know, having been with her a couple times, was very much into horses, right?
Correct.
Spent a lot of time with the horses?
Correct.
Did Kate Fox own horses?
I don't know. She didn't when I knew, when I hung around with her.
And you hung around with her before and after the fire, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We have not heard from Kate yet.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you, ma'am.
How soon?
The reason that you told the police officers about Kate Fox is what?
Things that Kate had said to me.
At that time, were you aware if Linda and Kate were close?
Yes, that's part of the reason Kate and I aren't friends anymore.
So you knew at that time that they were close?
Yes.
And I just want to just be clear, when she said she asked you to go into the home, it was to look for jewelry and a cup in the dishwasher, is that correct?
Correct.
Asked and answered, so.
I have no further question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Okay, jury.
Jury, do 1 minute. Do you have any questions of her? I've got a couple hands going up.
Static. Okay, great witness. The tea is really being spilled here today, and it is hot, as you guys have pointed out. These are individuals who saw what I would call a red flag in this investigation. They saw something like, that's not right. And I mean, yes, this witness was, what's her name? Kathy. She was a former firefighter, so she probably has some experience there. And that might have been why it triggered her. She's like, valuables not burned outside of the house. That's weird. Very, very seldom does somebody in a house fire have enough time to go through and collect all the valuables. And I'm going to get those, and here are my important documents, and we'll take those out. Usually it's too fast. Usually you get out and it's like, oh crap. Now that the house is fully engulfed, I should have got, I left in, oh no. Yeah, so little red flag there. I'm a little curious about the van. The police had a van that clearly had blood on it that was used in
A couple questions from the jury.
an accident. And they
Which
released it that
van
quick.
did you drive into town for drinks when Linda was going through the rubble? Like what color or make and model?
Good question.
I do not recall what make and model it was a while ago. I believe it was blue, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
It could be blue, but
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I believe it was blue, but I could be wrong. And were the pictures found in the shed in frames or binders, or were they loose?
They were in frames all stacked up on top of it. There was some other stuff there, and they were stacked on top of it.
Okay. Counsel, any questions in light of those questions and answers?
No, Your Honor.
No? Any question, Mr. Mueller?
Angelo, thank you very much. 18 months.
You said it was Linda Stermer's van that you drove to the gas station within a week or 2 weeks of the fire, am I right?
I think it was a van,
Linda Stermer's van, as far as you remember.
as far as I remember.
Thank you.
Did she give you the keys to drive whatever vehicle?
Yes, and money to buy the water, too.
So she handed you keys and money?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, so it probably was
Mueller,
not the
anything
same
else?
van.
Jury, any other questions? May she be excused from subpoena?
I would ask that you please be excused, Your Honor.
Any objection, defense?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You're all done, and you're excused from this subpoena.
Microphone abuse. What you doing? That's to break stuff as you leave. Angelo, thank you very much. 18 months. You make my day so much better.
Ms.
Thank
Ayden,
you.
may I call you next witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. People call Kate Fox to the stand, please.
We're going to need a new microphone, too, apparently. Kate Fox is next. I heard that. Kate. This is getting better and better. She has something to tell. Oh, wow. She comes with a support crew.
Ma'am, before you have a seat, I'll swear you in if you raise your right hand. Please do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat, and when you're settled in, we'll have you state your full name and spell the last, please.
Catherine K. Fox, F-O-X.
Thank you, Ms. Sider.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Fox, do you know Linda Stermer? How did you know Linda Stermer?
We met through our children.
How did your children spend time together?
My daughter was a cheerleader and her son played football.
So they went to school together?
They did.
And was there a time that you worked with Linda Stermer?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was, when you started working with her?
Roughly June of 2006.
Had you been working there prior?
No.
Did you both start on the same day?
We did. We interviewed and started on the same day.
And what place of employment are we talking about?
Chemlink, that was first located in Kalamazoo and then moved to Schoolcraft.
And how well did you know her before you started working together?
I'd only known her for a few months.
So it was really just more through your children?
Well, once we started talking, we hit it off pretty well. We were friends.
Did you have some common interests?
Besides the kids, horses, we went to auctions together. We bought a lot of furniture. I refinished old furniture, so we went to the auctions and bought old furniture.
And you said something with horses. Did you do
She had horses. My daughter was horse crazy, so we spent time there for my daughter to be able to ride and things.
Did you go any horse shows or pick up horses or anything like that with her?
No, I didn't have much to do with that part of it.
Ruth, thank you. Thank you.
So you started working on the same day. Did you end up carpooling together to go to work?
We did. Because we both lived in Lawrence, and it was quite a drive to Kalamazoo.
Did you start that right away?
Yes.
So as soon as you got the job?
Pretty much, yes.
So that would have been June of about 2006, you said?
Yes.
Did you guys get close as you were spending time together?
Yes.
And did you talk a lot in the car?
Yes.
Did you talk about Linda's marriage?
Yes.
What did she tell you about her marriage?
She told me that her husband was abusive to her. She was very unhappy in her marriage.
Did she say she wanted out of the marriage?
Sustained. Sustained on meeting.
Yes, she said she wanted out of the marriage.
Did you see any evidence of any physical abuse on Ms. Stermer at all?
Not once, not ever.
Rebecca, thank you for gifting
At some point, did she talk to you about Chris Williams?
She did.
And what did she tell you about Chris Williams?
They were having a relationship.
Do you know when that started?
I am not sure. I don't know how long after it started before she talked to me about it.
Was it shortly after you started working there?
It was at least a couple of months.
And what did she say about Chris Williams?
That he was extremely important to her.
How did she describe her feelings for him?
She wanted to be with him.
Do you recall ever overhearing any conversations between her and Mr. Williams?
Yes, they talked pretty much every night on the way home on the phone.
In your car?
She usually drove.
So she talked as you guys were driving back and forth?
Yes.
Did she say if this relationship was sexual?
She did.
What'd she say about it?
She said it was the best lover she ever had.
Your Honor, it's what the defendant said. She's describing her relationship.
Still relevance.
I find it relevant.
And it's showing she's gone on examination under oath saying she is. Thank you, Your Honor. So she said that he was the best lover she ever had?
Yes.
Did you know where Mr. Williams lived?
I had occasion to go there with Linda. I never went inside the house, but I did sit in the car while she went inside after work a few times.
Oh, shack.
How long were you sitting outside?
Half hour, 45 minutes.
Did she say what she was doing inside?
It seemed implied. I didn't ask.
And she told you that's Chris's house?
Yes.
Can you drive me to my friend's house?
At some point...
I'll just be a minute? What? Who does that?
Did the police contact you about Mr. Williams?
About him?
Or ask you about him?
When I talked to them, yes.
Did you tell them where Mr. Williams lived?
I believe so.
Were you aware of any phones that Linda had?
Yes.
And what did she have in terms of phones?
She had one phone that was the phone that her family knew about and another phone that they didn't.
And how did you know that the family didn't know about that phone?
Because she told me that.
Did she tell you where she kept it?
Sometimes she left it at my house, and sometimes she told me she had found a spot underneath the dash in her Blazer where she could put the phone.
Did you hear her talking on that phone?
Yes.
And who was she talking to?
Chris.
I want you to think about an incident at Thanksgiving prior to the fire. Did you call the police?
I did. That was in 2006.
So just a little less than 2 months before the fire, correct? If I told you the fire was January 7th of 2007? And can you tell the jury then why you called the police?
I called the police because she called me hysterical and said that she had a gun and wanted me to give her one good reason not to shoot him.
Not to shoot him?
Not to shoot Todd. And I did my best to calm her down, but at the end of the conversation, I still wasn't comfortable that things had calmed down, and so I called the police.
Did you know she had a gun prior to that?
I didn't. I'd never seen a gun.
Had she ever talked about shooting him before that?
She talked about various ways that she had thought about getting rid of him.
What did she say to you?
She talked about shooting him. She talked about running over him with her car, poisoning him.
The trifecta.
And she talked about all this with you?
Yes.
And why was she talking about this? I'll rephrase.
Yep, that's sustained.
What was the context of that conversation?
Generally, it was when she was talking about how unhappy she was in her marriage.
Did she ever talk to you about Todd being suspicious of her?
Not until late in 06. It was late in 06. She said that she felt like he was getting suspicious.
She talked to you about a post office box?
Yes, I actually went with her when she opened that post office box.
Why? What was...
Because she had credit cards and phone bills and things that Todd didn't know about, and she had the bills sent to the post office box so that he didn't see them.
And you went to that post office box?
I did. There were several occasions when I went and got the mail out for her and gave it to her.
Whoa. So you actually picked it up for her?
Yes.
Why did we start with
What was
this
your
witness?
relationship with Todd Stermer, if any?
From when our friendship started, she had told me that he was jealous of the time that we spent together and that he didn't like me, so I didn't have contact with Todd.
And that was because of what she said to you?
Yes.
After the fire, did you talk to her about the fire?
I asked her about it. She told me that her attorney had advised her not to discuss it.
So you didn't have any conversations with her?
We did
about it?
not, no.
Did she ever say anything about Todd being run over by a van?
She did.
What'd she say?
She told me that she had run over him with the van.
Did she tell you why?
No. Well, she said it was smoky and she didn't see him, that he had run out of the house, and she was trying to get in the van to go for help.
Linda.
Had you talked to Kathy Ilg about any concerns you had?
Yes. I told her I felt like I needed to speak to the police, but there was so much sympathy for her at work at that point after the fire that I didn't feel like I could go to them directly.
So you didn't want to go directly?
No, I didn't want anyone to know that I had contacted them because it would have made my life really hard at my job.
After the fire, did Ms. Stermer ever give you her locker keys from work?
She took some time off after the fire, and she said there were things in her locker that she needed me to take out for her.
Do you recall what those items were?
I never looked at them. It was just a bag of stuff that was in the locker.
And then where did you take those?
I took them home with me.
Were you able to give them back to her?
Eventually. Initially, they had been set on top of a trunk in my house. Someone had opened it at some point and the bag had fallen behind it and I couldn't find them. And she was very angry.
What was she saying to you?
She accused me of stealing them or keeping them intentionally.
Were these paper items or were they items?
It felt like a bag of mail.
Eventually, did you find those items?
I did.
Did you give them back to her?
I did.
Did you store anything at your house for her?
Like I said, occasionally the phone, before the post office, sometimes bills, phone bills.
When you talked to deputies about Mr. Chris Williams, were you able to describe his vehicle?
Yes.
And you also then knew his address?
Well, I didn't know the exact address, but I knew how to get there. I'm not very good with streets in Kalamazoo.
So you just told them the location?
Basically, yes.
It's the house with the shaggin' wagon out front.
Were you, did Linda ever ask you to lie for her when she was with Chris?
Like I said, I had no contact with Todd, so no.
Did you ever have any further conversations about what happened on the fire, the day of the fire, or about her running him over?
No, I'm pretty sure she only told me that the one time. And honestly, I didn't want to know.
Did Linda call you a few days after the fire and ask you to go out to the scene?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how long. It was shortly after the fire. She called me. It was late at night. It was pouring rain, and she said she needed me to bring a flashlight and come out to the house because there was a coffee cup in the dishwasher that had not been run, and she needed to find that cup because it had tranquilizer in it, and she didn't want the investigators to locate it.
Can we get the jury the forms, please, Judge, Your Honor? I think we can just let's put a bow on it.
At some point, did your relationship start to dissolve?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury why your relationship started to dissolve?
I had loaned her $5,000 because she told me that her mortgage was about to default and she was going to lose her house. And I had gotten paperwork in the mail for a signature loan for $5,000. So she asked me if she could borrow the money and said that she would make the payments on it and that it would help build my credit.
No.
So I did. I took the check, I signed it, I went to my bank, I deposited it, and I had a bank draft drawn up to Linda Stermer for the $5,000.
So you gave her then the entire $5,000?
I did.
And this was a loan in your name?
Yes.
Did not help your
and
credit,
you did it why?
I didn't want her to lose her house.
And are you talking about the house that had burned, or are you
Yes.
talking about it? Okay. But it was your understanding she needed this money to keep that?
Yes.
And keep the property,
Yes.
is that right? Okay. And once you gave her the money, it was your understanding she was going to make payments?
Yes.
And did that occur?
No.
How did you find that out?
Several months later, one of the bills came, because I hadn't even been opening them, I was just giving them to her. A bill came and it said final notice, so I opened it and realized that not one single payment had been made.
And again, this was just in your name?
Yes.
So what did you do once you found this information out?
I confronted her at work.
And where did you confront her at work at?
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom? And tell me what happened during that conversation.
She looked me in the eye and said she never borrowed money from me.
And what did you do?
I was angry. I yelled. I was very verbally abusive. I was very angry.
Because now you had to pay that $5,000 back.
Yes.
And what did Ms. Stermer do then when you became angry with her?
She said a couple of things before she walked out of the bathroom, like, stop touching me, get away from me. And then she went out of the bathroom and I followed her into the hallway and continued basically yelling at her.
Did you both get in trouble at work?
No.
You didn't get in any trouble?
No.
Was that the last time you talked to her?
Probably.
Any substantial conversations after that?
Not that I recall.
Did she ever pay you back?
No.
Who's Steve Benny?
My brother.
When was the last time you had a conversation with your brother?
My mom's funeral in 2001, until I introduced him to Linda in 2007.
And then you introduced him to Linda?
Yes. He had property and she needed a place for her horses to stay.
So you connected the two of them?
So I connected the two of them so they could make that happen.
Did you talk to your brother anytime after that?
No.
Have you seen him?
No.
Now
Only
you're
at
gonna-
funerals, and we don't have conversation.
So from 2001 to 2007, there was one conversation about connecting him with Linda?
Basically, my brother and I have never been close.
Anything else that Ms. Stermer told you over the course of your friendship about either the house or her relationship or Chris Williams that I failed to ask you about?
I don't think so.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Buckle up, guys. That was only half of it. Kate, I would be worried that you would be next.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello.
I just want to get a couple housekeeping things done from what a prior witness said. You and Linda, as I understand it, you started at ChemLink on the same day, June 5, 2006, sound right?
That sounds right. Sometime in that area.
Linda helped you get the job, right?
Yes.
You two worked the second shift?
Yes.
Right. I used to work in a factory once. Would second shift be 3 to 11?
Yes.
And Chris Williams, he worked the first shift, am I right?
Yes, he did.
What would the first shift be?
7 to 3.
Okay. He was a truck driver. Do you know whether he was in the same building as you?
It was all one building.
In Schoolcraft?
Yes.
But he'd be leaving as you were coming on, correct?
Yes.
And you and Linda became almost like best friends, am I right?
I thought so.
Right. Chris Williams, you're saying Linda had started having a relationship with him, all right?
That's what she told me.
Okay, do you remember when it started?
Specifically, no. Like I said, I don't know how long it had gone on before she mentioned it to me.
Do you recall, well, it wasn't a big secret around ChemLink, was it?
That they were seeing each other?
Yeah.
I don't think it was common knowledge. There were a handful of people that may have known.
This is why you don't have friends. Wow.
And we'll return to that. Let me just make sure I get this timeline right.
That means they won't return to that.
You start June of 2006 with Linda, right?
Yes.
Working the same shift, going to work, traveling every day, because you both worked a long ways from
Yes.
Schoolcraft. Then in Thanksgiving of 2006, November of 2006, there's this incident that happens that you told us about, right?
Yes.
Where you were the one who called the police, am I right?
Yes.
Because Linda, you said, I think said she had a gun and give me one reason why I shouldn't shoot this guy to death.
Yes.
Right. That's what you told the Michigan State Police. You called them.
I called 911. Who I talked to, I couldn't say.
Okay. Let me show you, if I may approach, Your Honor. Thanks. You testified in a prior hearing, am I right?
Yes, I did.
Under oath?
Yes, sir.
Subject to the penalty of perjury?
This is the foundation.
Yeah,
And you swore to tell the truth?
I did.
And you did tell the truth? In that hearing?
Question?
And you did tell the truth.
Yes,
the question.
I did tell the truth.
Thank you. I want to turn your attention to page 192, if I may.
This is impeachment. They've got to discredit this witness if they stand any hope of keeping a juror on their side.
Are you there?
Yes.
And there are a bunch of numbers, of line numbers on the sides. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Question was asked, you told the police that there was a gun involved in that incident. Ma'am, are you sure? Your answer was, they specifically asked me while I was on the phone if I knew if there were any firearms in the house. And I stated at that time, yes. See that?
She told me she had a gun.
Listen to my question.
Okay.
That was the question and answer you gave under oath, am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Then the question, that there was a firearm in the house or that there was a firearm being involved in the incident. And your answer was, you told them that I knew there were guns in the house. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
That
I
was
don't
your-
remember saying guns, but I did say there was a gun in the house.
That was your testimony under oath, right?
Yes.
And when you swore to tell the truth and you gave that answer to that question, it was the truth.
Yes.
And you knew that at that time, you need to make sure you're telling the police detailed information so they can help your friend.
I told them what she told me.
Okay. Isn't it true? There's nothing in here about, give me one reason why I should shoot that guy. Why I shouldn't shoot him.
One.
Am I right?
What are you saying?
Nothing in that transcript that where you swore to tell the truth that I just read says anything that you told the police about Linda saying, give me one reason why I shouldn't shoot that guy. Am I right?
It wasn't asked.
I thought that I had.
The question was, am I right in the questions and answers that I read?
She's trying to review the document you gave her.
I just asked her to look at those questions and answers.
Well, why don't you let her finish and then you can ask your question.
This is not a big issue. This tactic of the attorney saying, "Isn't it true? You never said anything about that previously." If you were
I did
asked,
tell them that she told me she had a gun.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, this is November of 2006. I want to speed forward a little bit to the timeline. In January of 2007, right at the time of the fire, you had been hospitalized, am I right?
Yes.
You had been hospitalized in a psychiatric facility,
Yes.
am I right? And you were diagnosed with severe depression.
Situational depression.
Your Honor, I guess I'm just going to object, unless this would affect her memory. I don't know if we really need to go into her medical history.
She was hospitalized for a psychiatric condition. It goes to what she remembers and what she's able to tell us now
I don't think
about the time of the fire.
that anything that happened to her affected her memory.
Relevance of the 401.
I'm not seeing the relevance, so I'll sustain that objection.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Then the fire happened, am I right?
Yes.
January 7th. And then you have told our jury that your friendship dissolved over a loan of $5,000. You remember that?
I do.
And that culminated in a big verbal argument.
Yes.
All right. That big verbal argument happened July 31 of 2007.
Yes.
All right. You had found out shortly after or before that Linda wasn't making payments on this loan you had made, right?
Shortly, very shortly before that.
Because you were hot, right?
Yes, I was angry.
Okay. And that's the reason your friendship dissolved.
There were a lot of things that led up to that, but that was the last straw.
Okay. Now, I want to direct your attention to your testimony. Again, you have that with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Say yes. Page 201, line 5 to 13.
He's still trying to rattle her. And he's good at it.
Let me know when you're on page 201
Line 5.
to 13.
like I said, there were a lot of things that culminated in the relationship ending, but yes, I recall testifying to that.
When you were interviewed by Detective Rout, and you gave this testimony under oath at that hearing, you were asked, isn't it true that you told Detective Rout, when you were interviewed by her on May 17, 2007, that your relationship with Linda Stermer pretty much dissolved in February of 2007, after she had received so much sympathy from her coworkers, and Linda was transferred from second shift to first shift, and this angered her, you.
Yes.
Because the plan had been for the two of you to move together to first shift. Isn't that true? And your answer was?
Yes.
Yes. So your relationship dissolved in February of 2007 because you were angry that she had gone to first shift.
I wouldn't say it dissolved at that point. We still had contact after that. Not nearly as often, and we were still working together.
That fact that
at the same place.
The fact that she went to, well, she was on first shift now and you were on second. True?
Yes.
Okay. Now, my question is, not only did it anger you, you felt betrayed, didn't you?
I started to realize how many lies she had told me.
Okay. Because you think she lied when she made you this promise, or you guys talked about, we're going to go to first shift as a package deal?
Yes, and she never even gave me a heads up that she was changing or talking to anyone about changing shifts.
Do you understand that on January 7th, she lost her husband and her 3 teenage kids lost their father?
I know, I feel bad for her kids.
And so she had to take care of 3 teenage kids who are school-aged, right? Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yes.
And you understand that she asked management, can I change shifts so that I can accommodate the school schedule? True?
True.
And so you felt betrayed by that as she lied to you?
It sounds petty. That sounds petty.
Well.
And it was much bigger than that.
Okay. You did feel like she lied to you, right?
Often, yes.
No, about that.
About that specifically, yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Then in May 11 of 2007, Linda accused you of spreading rumors at work that she had killed Todd. Isn't that right?
I may have talked to somebody about that, yes.
Yeah, you may have talked to a woman named Jen, a coworker.
Possibly.
Well, possibly. Let's look at if I can refresh your recollection. If I may approach, Your Honor.
We can go many trials without seeing a witness exchange this spicy. This is incredible.
Let me read that asterisk paragraph. You don't read it yourself.
That sounds right.
Refresh your memory now, ma'am?
I don't remember who Jen was, but yeah.
It refreshes your
I know I talked to someone, I just didn't remember the name.
Okay. That you were accused by Linda of telling another coworker by the name of Jen that Linda killed her husband. True?
Yes, because I believe that's what happened.
Excuse me, ma'am. You can understand how someone might be upset when a coworker is spreading rumors at work that she was a murderer. You can imagine how upsetting that might be. True?
Sure.
Okay. So that's May 11, and then right after that, you and Kathy Ilg get this idea of you want to go to the police to tell the police things, but you don't want it to come back on you. Is that fair?
Yes.
So you told Kathy, I need you to make a phone call.
Well, I didn't tell Kathy. I discussed it with Kathy, and Kathy offered to call them and have them come to me.
Okay, so Kathy offered to be the go-between between you and the police, am I right?
Just for that incident.
In May of 2007.
Yes.
Then you had Officer Rout come to your work, am I right, to interview you?
Yes.
Even though at that time you lived about a mile from the MSP post, true?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
And you also lived about 5 minutes from the Van Buren County Sheriff's Office, right?
Yes.
You could have certainly gone down there. Yes?
The point was to avoid conflict with people at work that were feeling sympathy for her.
Okay. So that's why you had the police
Come to me.
come to work for this big show that the police are talking to you while you wanted to avoid conflict with the people at work.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's exactly right.
I think he said police come to work. I think he meant police come to your house.
Then we have this issue that happened because of the loan, right, where you confronted Linda in the bathroom
Yes.
at work, right?
Yes.
And you got verbal,
I did.
but it didn't get physical.
I never touched her.
Never touched her. Yet you were convicted for assault.
I pled no
excuse me.
contest because she had already convinced the police that I had done that.
The question is this. You were convicted of assault.
I don't really know what the point of talking about convictions is, if it's relevant or not relevant.
She already said,
You would truth.
she said she never laid a hand on it, Linda.
Is this out of this incident?
Yes.
The assault? I'll allow it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I guess I'm also less concerned that assault can mean also not,
right.
it can also mean being put in fear of. It doesn't necessarily prove that there was any sort of battery.
Right.
So I also would ask for an instruction on that for the jury so that they understand what an assault and battery is, and it can simply be just.
Your Honor, I don't know if we need a speech instead of a legal objection.
Okay. There's been a legal objection. In light of the prosecution reminding me of the elements of the assault, I find it more confusing than
Well,
relevant.
let me see if I can clarify this.
So I'm not allowing you to go into that anymore.
Okay.
You said, I don't think we need a speech, and you lost
Right
the
after
ground
this
you had
incident,
gained.
you contacted the police again, Detective Rout. Am I right?
Yes.
All right. Now, you said that Linda Stermer asked you to close out her post office box. Am I right?
Clean out her post
Clean out.
office box.
And you closed it out, though, didn't you?
I don't remember if I took everything out or if I actually closed the box. I think I originally said that I closed the box, so I assume that's what I did. It's been a long time.
Understood. Closing the box means closing the account because she didn't want
Right.
Todd to find out.
But I, like I said, was with her when she opened that post office box.
You weren't a signer on the box. It was her box.
I had a key.
You had a key, and every now and then she'd give you a key for that post office box, and if you needed to get stuff for her, you did.
Yes.
Are you telling our jury,
This jury.
the U.S. Post Office in Pawpaw,
Yes.
that the federal government, the U.S. Postal Service, allowed you to close out a box from for a third party?
I don't think she'd have any knowledge of what the post office is doing. I think she can talk about her actions and what she did. I don't think she knows what the post office did.
This is impeachment. This is cross-examination. I'm allowed to get into this.
If you lay a foundation.
Yes.
That she knew.
Have you ever opened a post office box before? Ever?
Yes, once in South Haven.
And when in South Haven, did you ever close that box?
Yes.
And when you open the box, you have to show ID, don't you?
I didn't.
I don't remember. That would have been in the 80s.
You wouldn't know if you just simply say, I'm Kate Fox, I'd like to open a box, and they give you one.
If I had to show ID, I'm sure I did.
And you have to fill out some type of form or application. They don't just give you a key, right?
Right.
When you closed your box, you had to prove it was you. True?
Your Honor, I prefer Pete ask her if she remembered, because it appears
Your Honor,
that
we don't need a
she's
speech.
struggling with her memory on what actually occurred by putting words in her mouth.
That's specific.
Ma'am? Everyone can't talk at the same time, okay? So what is the question right now, Mr. Mueller?
Question is, well, let's say, did you ever testify under oath that the U.S. Postal Service allowed you to close a postal box for another person?
I'll allow that question for
Yes.
impeachment.
You testified to that under oath,
Yes,
but you don't know if they actually would allow you to do that, right?
I believe they did.
Okay. Do you recall having...
I know I cleaned the box out that day.
Do you recall showing ID to the postal office that day you remember
I
cleaning out the
don't
box?
remember whether I had to show ID or not.
You don't recall what you had to do, am I right?
Right.
Now, this issue of a coffee cup that Linda talked to you about, you needed to get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
Because she wanted, I think you told us that the coffee cup had tranquilizer in,
Yes.
right? But she didn't give any tranquilizer to Todd
She
Stermer.
told me she didn't give it to him because she found out that he had already taken something for sleep.
Okay, he took something for sleep. Are you aware, do you have any evidence to corroborate for our jury that Linda Stermer told you any of this?
No, I don't.
Are you aware that Dr. Markey, the medical examiner, has testified Todd Stermer didn't have any drugs in his system? None, except caffeine.
Your Honor, that's not correct statement of what was actually found by Dr. Markey. There were drugs found in his system, and he listed them out on the toxicology.
In his system is in the blood, active in his system. Counsel knows that.
I think asking her about what the doctor found is inappropriate.
No, I just asked if she was aware of it.
That's an
No,
important.
I wasn't aware of it.
Wayne, welcome to the gallery. Thank you, my friend. Love the pink courthouse.
Man, do you think you're a truthful person?
Yes, I do.
Do you think you're a deceitful person?
No.
Well, wouldn't it be a little bit sneaky when you went with Kathy Ilg to call the police?
I'm going to object to this. I don't understand what this line of
It goes
questioning
right to
is.
credibility.
I
It's
think
argumentative.
Goes
maybe a
right-
different word besides sneaky. It looks like you're going for truth and deceit.
Would it be deceptive that you went through a third party to talk to the police?
It didn't feel like it at the time.
Not to you.
Not to me, no.
So you don't feel like you're deceptive or untruthful?
I felt like I needed to talk to them.
This question is, you don't feel like you're untruthful, right?
No.
And you don't feel like you're deceptive, right?
No.
Your Honor, asked and answered. I'd ask you to move on.
There's an objection asked and answered. I'm sustaining.
Thank you. Would your siblings agree with you?
Not my brother, but I don't have a relationship with my brother. My
That would-
sister would tell you that
And
I'm
would be-
honest.
And that would be Steve, right?
Yes, it would.
Steve Benny.
Yes.
Thank you. Give it 1 second.
Apparently, the defense is going to call at least one person we know, Steve Benning, to the stand. Di Beatson, thank you very much. 16 months. I think I'm going to rewatch this whole day over the weekend. This day in court has been incredible. All the spice, all the tea, drama. We need a couple of these. I didn't want to interrupt the court, but whoa.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe that Attorney Mueller was asking you about your prior testimony and whether you had talked to them about whether she said she had a gun.
Yes.
And do you recall looking at the testimony then? I'm going to actually have you go through all of your answers on that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and just say yes instead of not here.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No. So I'm going to have you read to me, because I believe he was concentrating on particular lines.
Okay.
And so I'm going to have you read from 15, line 15, which I believe he was talking to you about. And I'm going to actually have you continue down to line 24. If you could just read that. The same page you had, I believe it's 192.
All right, the question, you didn't tell the police and things. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I want her to read because he made her read the two statements and he excluded another statement that she made.
Kelly, welcome.
Okay. Question, you didn't tell the police in Thanksgiving 2006 that Ms. Stermer had a shotgun and was threatening her husband, did you? Answer, yes, I did. You told the police that there was a weapon involved. I told them there was an assault, that she told me she had a gun.
Thank you. So that's the full and complete answer that you were trying to give, is that correct? And that's from the same page that Attorney Mueller had you read from?
Yes.
Do you know if everybody worked like in different roles and at ChemLink? Do you know if drivers were on the same shift as people on the line?
I think they had a few people from each department on both shifts, but I'm not positive about that. The drivers may have only worked in the morning. I don't know.
So you don't know?
I didn't know them personally.
You only know what your shift was?
Right.
But you don't know what drivers' shifts or what other employees' shifts are?
No.
And I guess I just want to understand the dynamics at work after the fire were not good. No. Is that correct?
Yes.
There was a little tension.
Yes.
There was stress.
Yes.
And you wanted the police to come to you versus you reaching out to the police.
Yes.
And why did you want that?
Because I had to continue to work with the people that I worked with, and like I said at the time, they were very sympathetic of her situation.
And you didn't want to look like the bad guy?
Right.
But you felt this information needed to get to the police?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Ma'am, because everybody was sympathetic with Linda Stermer, who lost her husband, you were upset about that?
I wasn't upset about it. I just didn't want to end up on the wrong end of it. I didn't want them to see me as the enemy.
Okay.
But I didn't feel the same way that everyone else did, no.
Okay. And that's why you had the police come to you instead of you going to the police, so you're away from the employees that you didn't want to be looked bad upon?
I don't understand your question.
Yeah, bad question. Sometimes I do that. Instead of going to the Van Buren County Sheriffs who are 5 minutes from your house, or the Michigan State Police, which is a mile from your house, you had them go about a half hour to your work. Am I right?
Yes.
And that was, you were afraid that the employees would see you were talking about Linda, and everybody felt bad about Linda.
Yes.
And that's why you had them come to you at work.
Exactly.
Instead of you going to them, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then finally, when you were asked those questions on 192, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
That's confusing.
I'm familiar, yes.
Okay. You didn't tell the police on Thanksgiving 2006 that Ms. Stermer had a shotgun and was threatening her husband, did you? And your answer was, yes, I did. Then you told that to the police, that there was a weapon. I told them there was an assault, that she told me that she had a gun. Then you were asked some follow-up questions, right? The ones I read you. And you were pressed a little more. You told the police that there was a gun involved in the incident, ma'am, are you sure? They specifically asked me while I was on the phone if I knew there were any firearms. She's with me at 192 and 193.
Asked and answered.
Is there a specific inconsistent statement you're trying to get at? Okay.
I'm just pressing, she got pressed and then admitted the truth under oath that you told them that I knew there were guns in the house, and that was your testimony under oath.
So the guns is where you're getting hung up? Because I told them she had a gun.
Excuse me. You said that I knew there were guns in the house under oath, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
You told them that because Linda told you she had a gun in the house?
Yes.
And what's your objection?
Form, leading.
Oh, wow, it's already been covered, though.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I just want to be clear, I think it got lost in the translation here. Did you want it to appear the police were coming to you instead of you going to the police?
Yes.
And that's what you were trying to accomplish?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions.
Jury, do you have any questions?
Please, jury.
None?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. You're excused from your subpoena. Any objection to excusing her, counsel?
Yes, I'd ask that she please be excused from subpoena.
No problem.
Okay, you're all done. Thank you, ma'am. Yep.
Thank you.
While they approach, just want to let you know that the mods I have are incredible. They're absolutely amazing, and currently, while Josh is active modding, he's sending me pictures of fish he's catching as he's out fishing. He's got it looks like some sort of bluegill or a sunfish, a perch, and a pretty nice sized catfish while he's modding. So, Josh, good work and happy fishing. That sounds awesome. Oh man, who says I don't let my mods have a vacation? This counts, but it gets deducted from your time off. Fishing on the job. Josh is multitasking, and I think he's got a cake in the oven. I think is that true, Josh? You're baking something, you're modding, and you're fishing. Josh is a man of many talents. You're probably also watching for some spicy courts somewhere else around the country. I want to relive this day like 7 times. This day in court has been absolutely incredible. Oh, if you just came in, I'm sorry. I'm not doing this for selfish reasons. You need to rewatch today. You need to see everything. Yesterday was good. Today was better. And it just keeps giving. It's the gift that keeps giving. Wow. All right. What happened to the baseball bat trial? It's over on the Top Mark Media channel. We recorded those and saved those on Top Mark Media. So that's my company. Top Mark Media is the company that owns Recovery Addict channel. It's just me. It's just by another name. But if you go over on Top Mark Media, sometimes we use that channel for other courts that we're providing, that we're covering, but I'm not doing commentary on. So all of those are available. At least all that are available are over on that channel. Tammy in KS, Kansas, welcome to the gallery. Thank you very much. There's the link to Top Mark Media. What is your opinion? Defense is struggling here. They've got some good, believable witnesses.
4:15 today, so I'll let you take a 15-minute break now, okay? And remember the rules.
Don't forget the rules. Whatever you do. Let's see. What's my opinion? Defense. Okay, here's my opinion. I think there was a reason the jury convicted her last time. I think there was a reason. And one of the appellate judges looked at all this evidence and his dissent on when it was a 3-person vote and it was 2-1 on whether she'd get a good new trial, his dissent is scathing. Maybe we should read that during the 15-minute break. Maybe that's where we need to go. Let's see. Where are my downloads?
Jury's left. Any matters to address in our short break?
The only thing, Your Honor, is just that the next witness is going to be reading transcripts. It's my understanding that I'm going to play the part of Mr. Capps. Mr. Kelly is going to be then Mr. Getting, and then
We have a reader.
Your Honor, this is my case, my direct, my witnesses, so we already have a reader. Thank you.
Okay.
And H.
So you
Amanda,
have someone reading?
Hang on one second.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to have separate readers come in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The reader's like, so what do I do? I've just been sitting here the whole time. Okay, Amanda's on the phone. Amanda H., how are you doing, Amanda?
Oh, I'm good. Enjoying this yucky, stormy, rainy weather here in Texas.
Oh.
But, hey, I want your opinion on something. So now twice, witnesses have slipped up and mentioned the previous trial, but nothing's been done. Do you think the defense is holding that in their back pocket to try to get another retrial if she's convicted?
No, because I think that they opened the door to it both times. This has been on their questioning, and they were talking about that. They were asking like a deeper question about when they were testifying. Back in 2009, did you testify in a hearing? Yes, and that was a hearing you testified at. It was like sort of like a clarifying question, and I think they elicited it a little bit, so it's on them. And the jury knows now. I mean, it's if they don't, they have to. Yeah, they have to know. So I don't think this is going to be a mistrial issue or a appellate issue down the road.
Yeah, okay. I was just thinking about that. I was like, but yeah, I didn't think about the fact that they were like, you in a hearing previously, you testified. Yeah. So that makes sense. So I got to share with you real quick. My daughter, who she graduated May of last year, wasn't sure what she wants to do. So now she's wanting to go criminal justice. And they did a tour of the jail. It's funny. I tell everybody I took my daughter to jail on Wednesday. But I picked her back up.
You took your daughter
to jail. I took her to jail. Dropped her off on Wednesday.
Parents have been threatening that for years, but you actually carried through on this one.
I actually got to do it. But I picked her up about 3 hours later, so it's all good. Anywho, so now she thought she wanted to go to be a police officer, and I kind of pulled her away from that because I don't want her out doing that. But I think she wants to go to be a criminal investigator now.
Oh wow, that's awesome. I'm excited.
So, yeah.
If that's her passion,
Mama
I hope she pursues it. So.
That got me excited because I'm like, oh yeah, I can help you with this stuff.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm frantically looking for the documents that I'm teasing, and I don't know where it went. Let's see. Oh, I got it. Okay, we've got some reading material.
Okay.
So, Amanda
Thank
H, thank you very much. Good talking to you again. Have a happy.
Thank you. Have a good rest of
Friday,
your day.
good weekend. We'll see you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, we've got a little bit of reading to do while we're waiting for court. We'll keep the seal up so you know we're on break. But while that happens, let me tell you this. This is from the 55-page opinion. Let's see. Where am I at? I think I'm on page. Let me scroll to the top. This is the United States Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit. Linda Stermer versus Millicent Warren Warden. Appeal from the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan at Detroit before 3 judges, Moore, Clay, and Sutton. So, let's see, argued. We're going to go all the way back down here to the dissenting opinion, which is fire. Now I forgot which page I was on. I think I'm further down. Failure to object. Failure to retain. Let's see. Prejudice. Ineffective assistance of counsel. Dissent. There we go. We're starting on page 46. We read some of this already, so I'm going to start down with this part, because now we've heard from Miss Fox. Linda did herself no favors in conversations with Fox after the fire. She talked about sneaking into the home to retrieve a coffee mug that contained traces of a sedative she poured for Todd before his death. Her plan, keeping the mug away from police who were coming to the house to look for evidence the following day, quote unquote. Linda did not stop talking after she went to jail. 2 inmates, which we might get to hear, that's Veronica Tracy and Darda Gordon, we might hear those, testified that Stermer admitted to striking her husband in the back of the head. Linda Stermer tried several defenses at trial. She objected to the credibility of prosecution witnesses and put on character witnesses of her own. I think she'll do that again this time. That was the first trial. This is my favorite part. One of 3 things happened that day. We're talking about the day that the fire happened. One of 3 things happened. Todd killed himself. Todd died accidentally. Or Linda murdered him. Those are the 3 options we have to choose from. And when you break that apart, it says the idea that Todd killed himself is a non-starter. Aside from the oddity of attempting suicide by lighting oneself on fire in a house that had plenty of firearms in it, that account does not explain the lacerations on Todd's head or how he managed to make Linda's car drive over him. The possibility of an accident suspends belief. 2 remarkably unlikely events would have to happen. Todd accidentally would have to set the house and himself on fire, and his wife accidentally would have to drive over him in the front yard. That is a ton of bad luck, all within 24 hours of another piece of misfortune, the disclosure that Linda was having an affair. That leaves the last possibility, the only realistic one of the 3, that Linda killed Todd after he discovered her affair and told her to leave the home and her teenage sons. Nothing in the evidence answers any of the questions that point to Linda as the murderer. Why did Linda fill a can of gasoline in the morning of Todd's death? Why did the authorities find gasoline in Todd's body on Todd's body and on towels in the washing machine. This jury won't know about the towels. That got ruled out. I don't think that's coming into this trial. Why did Todd suffer head wounds from a blunt instrument? Why did Linda run over him nearly 50 feet away from the home and nowhere near the driveway in broad daylight? Why, after running him over, did she park the car behind the home rather than going to fetch help? Why didn't she call the fire department or police? Why did she tell so many inconsistent stories to investigators? Why did she want to sneak back into her home to hide evidence from the police? Why do so many witnesses have so many incriminating things to say? Unable to answer any of these questions in a credible way, Linda shifts the blame to lawyers on both sides of the case. This is in her appeal argument. The misconduct of the prosecutor and the incompetence of her lawyer, she insists, each requires a new trial. But the law does not provide a way out of her predicament. Congress has prohibited federal courts from second-guessing state court criminal convictions. He goes on to address the issues about prosecutorial misconduct and the fact that what they said in that first trial was in closings, which are not evidence and should not be considered as such. And anyway, it's good stuff. I love what that judge said. I think he was right. I think the jury here is going to find the same thing the jury found the first time, and that's going to be conviction. And I think her old conviction will be basically reinstated, for lack of a better term, even though it'll happen under the new date. Let's see. What of the prosecutor's statement that she was diabolical, scheming, manipulative, liar, and a murderer? Harsh, no doubt. Unnecessary, too. A good lawyer knows it is better to let the jurors draw those conclusions for themselves rather than to push and prod the jurors into drawing them. But given the context of the entire trial, this is one descent into the impolitic that needless language did not clearly violate any Supreme Court decision or rule. Consider each word and its connection to the evidence. Diabolical? The evidence showed that she drugged her husband, lit him on fire, and ran him over in the family car when the fire did not do the job. Scheming? The evidence showed that she discussed his murder for months, got up early in the morning to purchase the necessary gasoline, then sent her children to the store to get them out of the house. Manipulative? The evidence showed that she's pretended to be upset while standing over Todd's dead body to win over the sympathy of onlookers at the crime scene, only to turn around and accuse him of trying to murder her when faced with tough questions about how the fire started. Liar? The evidence showed that she deceived investigators about her affair, about the cause of her fight with Todd, about purchasing a container of gasoline, and about her location during the fire. Murderer? What more can I say? And what more can the evidence show? Truth may not always be a defense of these kinds of charges, but neither does uncouth language invariably create a reversible error, least of all in the context of AEDPA. That was the reason that this all got granted. Compare these evidence-supported statements to cases in which the Supreme Court rejected prosecutorial misconduct claims and involved far worse transgressions. And then he gives case law for that. More case law. Talks about improper vouching. The prosecutor simply provided the jury a way of thinking about the evidence it had already heard. The prosecutor pointed out one witness's effective recall while reminding the jury that it had the opportunity to judge the witness's credibility for itself. He likewise refreshed the jury's recollection of evidence suggesting the jailhouse witnesses did not have ulterior motives to testify by noting they were out of jail and had nothing pending. Even if these statements crossed the line, they did not, Stermer would still lose. She does not even try to show how these two statements could have caused the jury to stray from its responsibility to be fair and unbiased. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's see, anything else you wanted to read of this one? Let me see if I can link this to you. For those who want some good reading, let me put this up in Silly Pick. Thank you. This is a crazy trial. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. 10 months. Silly Pick. That was great. Shannon Lane, welcome to the gallery. Tamarine, Kansas, welcome as well. I think we got you earlier, but we'll welcome you again. Let me post this link for the document I'm reading right here in chat. Hopefully this works. It's sort of like a... Oh, apparently I'm in my wrong... There we go. I'm in the right chat now. If you want to read that document, I think it's right here. If somebody can try it, just one of you, and see if it works. Let me know, and we will. We'll see. Yeah, but what did the guys say that granted her this retrial? The guys that granted the retrial said, you're right. That was prosecutorial misconduct by calling her a lying liar who lies. And you sort of bolstered testimony and restated some incorrectly. So that's right. And, or either one would apply. Your attorney should have objected, yet he didn't. And he should have called another witness to counter the state's witness, and he didn't. So that was ineffective assistance of counsel. So that was granted. All right. Love a good dissent. I do as well. And this one is a big one. It's a big one. Yes, the link works. Okay, so now you guys have some great reading. It's fascinating. I've really loved digging into that one a little bit. More reading I can't do today. Just save it for later. Josh sent more pictures. Apparently the fish are biting. Josh, where's the invite? We'll have to go fishing. Let's see. Oh, birds? Chickens? Whoa, massive catfish. This is a beast. It's like 2 foot long catfish. Maybe he's just holding it close to the lens. I saw you cropped your hand out. That's an old fisherman's trick. So she was called some names that fit the crime and her lawyer didn't object. We hear so much. How hard is it to get ineffective assistance of counsel? It boggles my mind, especially hearing all this.
Call from
The Ghost.
The Ghost, this is R.A. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great, great. What's on your mind today?
Good. So, I'm a Michigander here.
Oh, wonderful.
And,
Are you a hooligan? Is that what it is?
No.
Okay.
I'm an upper, a youper. So,
a youper, okay.
A youper, yep. Add that to the list of made-up words.
We'll add it.
The dissent is amazing. Mm-hmm. I love that dissent. However, I still think golden rule violations in closing should result in new trials. Because if there isn't any recourse for misleading the jury in the very end of the trial,
right? That should be. I agree. I'm happy with a new trial. I think if there's a question, I would hate to see someone locked up in jail with a question mark saying, "Hey, it wasn't fair." I believe everyone should have a fair date. I mean, a fair hearing, a fair process. So I think the judge might be coming back here in just a minute. So any other thoughts? Right. Are you driving somewhere?
Yeah, I'm heading home.
Awesome. You got plans for the weekend?
Yep. Yeah, my brother turned 21 yesterday, so I'm heading out with him.
All right. So you won't remember by Monday. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm being the safe driver and not drinking. So
awesome. Well, wonderful. I love that you're calling in from the area. Is this something you followed the first time this happened?
I did not know. No, I was super young then, but it's fascinating. Still fascinating.
Awesome. And do we see you in chat at all? Is it Ghost?
Yes, I do. I do chat quite frequently.
Wonderful. Well, love to finally put a voice to the name and drive safely. Have a great weekend. Happy birthday to your brother. 21's a great year. Almost everything's legal. The only thing you can't do now is rent a car. So.
Yeah. All right, thanks for taking the call. I appreciate it.
Anytime. We'll see you. Bye. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Can you put a link in the description? Yeah, I'll do that. I think I had it there one time. Link to appeal decision. There it is. Yeah, I put it in the description. Daryl Brooks is pro se again for his appeal of conviction in front of Judge Darrow again, I think. That's a nice match made in heaven. I think you have to be 25 to rent a car. Let's see. 24 or 25 for car rental. Yeah, I think it's weird. It's like you can, I mean, I'm not trying to get political here, but you can go to war and fight and die for your country at a much younger age, but you can't rent a Hyundai. Where's the justice in that? That's just not right. You can rent, it's just super expensive. Okay, we're coming back to court. Here we go. More reading. Hopefully these readers do a good job.
Back on the record, counsel, any matters to address before we bring in the jury?
Are we going to let the jury know how we're handling this witness and how we're proceeding?
Oh, we were going to do the jury instructions. Remember we had that about it. Right.
Yeah.
We were going to do that same jury instruction you read, only we were going to delete maybe the last sentence or something.
Yeah, delete the last sentence. And then I'm just wondering that the jury's going to have probably a question on why we're reading this in.
Why we're wearing wigs and using sock puppets.
They say she's unavailable. That's what the rules say.
No, this is the wrong one. Let me,
Which is the one, because counsel, can you approach?
Okay, let's go.
Josh, while fishing and baking a cake and moderating, has also found a new little trial for us to watch because that's what he does. Oh. Let's see. Was that trying to see what courtroom that's in. I can't see what courtroom it is. Oh, yeah, I can. You've got a link above that. Sorry. Well, later today I'll be able to record it while we watch this, but I can't right now. I mean, I can, but I have to switch everything around. Okay. Courtroom Playhouse, I need a playbill. I hope they have like good stage lighting. Everyone gets good mics. Get some method actors in here. I don't know. You can rent a hotel at 18. Josh does have superpowers. All of our mods are amazing, and they all perform some of the same and some different things for the channel. And I could not do it. I rely on all of them. They're absolutely, absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful for them. We may, just putting this out there, we may add another mod in the near future. I know we've had a lot of people volunteer. We're very, very, very selective about our mods. I was not to begin with. I literally won the lottery. I won the YouTube lottery with our mods when we first started. But we may have to add another mod here a little bit. So we're playing that by ear though. I don't want any of them to be overloaded, and I'll let them be the call on that one. So. And before everyone's all excited about saying, "Oh, I want to do it," there is a, when you become a mod, you also receive a little bit a muzzle, because all your comments are in blue, and you suddenly are speaking for the channel, and you lose the opportunity to speak quite as freely as you did before, because we do ask that the mods represent the channel in everything they do, and so be mindful of that. There are some of you I know would make fantastic mods, but there's no way I want to lose the commentary that you provide on a daily basis. Rescue dogs, I just want to be in mod chat. That's the truth. What happens in mod chat stays in mod chat, apparently. So. Festivus is for mod grievances. Okay, we've got a new witness coming in. Let me unpin this witness. I'll say this about mods if I can. I thank them for what they do. It's never enough.
Come back.
What they do is bigger than that.
And Sherry, I'm going to give you an instruction. It's similar to one you've already heard, but it relates to upcoming testimony. You will hear testimony that Ms. Stermer was in jail on or about June 2009. The parties stipulate that she was in jail for this offense You must not consider this as evidence of her guilt. The fact that she was in jail must not impact your deliberations or verdict in any way. Thank you. Mr. Blair?
Yes, Your Honor. At this point in time, we intend to read into the record the prior testimony of Darda Gordon. Counsel in this matter will be handled by myself and Mr. Kelly, from what I understand, and then we intend to have Heather Fisk from our office read the testimony of Darda Gordon into the record. Thank you. Yes, she is deceased. Yes, she is unavailable because she is now deceased.
All right. Hopefully we got some good readers up here.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Promise to read correctly? Yes.
Make sure that microphone's right up.
Different view up here.
Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Would you state your name, please?
Darda Gordon.
And Darda, where are you from?
I'm from Covert, Michigan.
And during 2009, I believe between April and August of this past year, were you in the Van Buren County Jail?
Yes, I was.
She's answering as if she was the witness who was
And
now
what were you in the
deceased.
Van Buren County Jail for?
Failure to pay fines and costs.
Okay. And while you were there a number of other female inmates that you shared a cell with?
Yes.
Okay. And my understanding is you left jail somewhere around August the 23rd. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Before you left jail, or when you left jail, were you done with anything you had to do with the system at that point in time?
Yes, I had nothing else to do with the system.
All right. And up to that point in time, had you ever talked to any officer about a person named Linda Stermer?
During the time I was incarcerated?
Right.
No, sir.
Were you eventually contacted by an officer in, I believe, sometime in late October of 2009?
Yes, sir.
All right. And were you told that your name came up from talking to another inmate or other inmates?
Yes.
All right. And is it true that officer wanted to know what, if anything, you knew about a person named Linda Stermer?
Yes.
And during the time that you were in the jail, did you know who Linda Stermer was?
I did not know her until I met her while I was incarcerated.
And when you met her in jail, first of all, tell us, how does things work as far as people getting along, not getting along, making friends, not making friends? Is there any particular way that works at the county jail or not?
Depending on the friendliness of the person, the nature of the person, what they were in there for, I tried to get along with everybody, to do my time, to go home. I don't put myself in the position to argue, to fight with the inmates, or to disrupt the jail system.
Okay.
Basically, I stay to myself, or I talk to other people that are, that I can talk to.
All right. And would it be fair to say that there are some people that get friendly and spend a lot of time with each other talking in jail, and there are other people that just don't do that or avoid people?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with Linda Stermer? How did the two of you get along, if at all?
We got along fine.
Okay. And as far as over the period of, about how long were you in jail together?
Roughly, I spent about a week, about 4 days down in the holding tank with her. Then I want to say roughly about a month and a half in the cell with her before I became a trustee.
And during that time, as compared with other inmates, were you closer with her, about the same as other inmates?
I was more closer with her.
Okay. And during that time, did discussion ever come up about why each of you were in jail?
Yes. I previously knew before, when I was in the holding tank with her. I knew then what she was in there for because...
Okay, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I was going to say, how did you know that?
She told me.
She told you when you were in the holding cell together?
Yes.
Before that, had you read anything, heard anything, seen anything on TV, any other source that you knew anything about her case or that it even happened?
No.
All right. Any knowledge that you have about her case, did that come from anywhere other than Linda Stermer?
No.
All right. I'm just going to ask you a general question. Tell me what your conversations were with Linda Stermer about her case.
Conversation was what she was incarcerated for. She told me she was incarcerated for murdering her husband. She told me that she had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
At one point in time, she told me over a course of 2 years that this was all going on. She was very hysterical at the time when we were in the holding tank. She was very hysterical, very crying, very.
At the time, she said that she didn't have anything to do with it. Did she tell you about anything at all about what had happened?
Only that she had an argument with her husband.
Okay. Did she tell you anything about that there had been a fire?
Yes.
Was there any discussion at all about where she had been when the fire happened, how she happened to get out, and he didn't?
She said that she wasn't in the home at the time of the fire, was the first conversation we had about it.
That she was not in the home?
Yes.
Was she on the property or just gone somewhere else according to what she initially told you?
She said she was gone off the property at the time of the fire.
Okay. And continue on with what happened. Did the story change at any point in time, or was there another story?
The story changed when we were in the cell together.
Okay, and in what way did it change?
The story changed to where she told me that she had an altercation with her husband at the time.
Okay.
An argument with him.
Did she tell you what the argument was about?
No, she did not tell me what the argument was about. That she did not do. She told me that she had an altercation, an argument. There was a point in time that she told me that there was medication involved with her husband.
Okay.
And at one point...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
One point in time, she told me that she started the fire in the home.
Okay. When she was talking about medication being involved, did she indicate how medication had been involved?
Administered the medication.
I'm sorry?
Administered.
She gave him medication?
Yes.
Okay. Did she tell you what it was that she had given him?
No, she did not.
Okay. Now, you said that she eventually told you that she had started the fire?
Yes.
Okay. Did she tell you anything about how she started the fire?
With gasoline.
Okay. Did she give you any other details about where this was, or where her husband was, or?
Her husband was inside the home.
Okay. Anything more specific than that she told you?
No, the fire was started in the home, and her husband was inside of the home at the time.
Okay. Did she indicate how she was able to do that without him stopping her, running out, fighting with her?
He was apparently sleeping.
Okay. What else, if anything, did she tell you about what happened?
She did tell me that at one time that she struck him with an object.
Okay. Was that during this same conversation, or was this a different time?
This was within the same conversation that we had the last time that I spoke with her.
Okay. Was it, just so I understand, was she saying that she struck him with an object while he was sleeping?
No, this was during the argument.
Okay.
She struck him with an object, then the conversation went to there was medication involved, and then the conversation went on with the fire got started. That she started the fire, her husband was sleeping at the time.
All right. Anything else at all any other discussion about what happened that day?
Not after that. That was all that me and her had a conversation about at that point in time.
Okay. Did you ever have any conversation with her at all about her relationship with her husband or other men?
She did tell me that she had a boyfriend.
Okay. Did she tell you anything about him?
She told me that he was a good man.
Okay.
I mean...
Anything else as far as where she met him, how she met him, where he was from, anything like that?
She told me she met him shortly after her husband passed.
Okay, I'm sorry, we misunderstood.
We need an okay counter.
Before her husband died, I'm sorry, I wasn't clear.
Okay.
What I was asking about is, did you ever have any conversation, or did she ever say she had a boyfriend while her husband was still alive?
No, she did not.
That never came up?
That never came up, no.
Right now you've got nothing pending in the system, is that right?
That's right.
And has anything been promised to you, or are you expecting anything for being here and providing testimony today?
No.
All right. And basically you were identified by someone as being apparently close to Linda Stermer, and the police came and talked to you?
Yes.
And this is pretty much what you told them?
Yes.
Thank you. No other questions.
All right. Jailhouse snitch. No reason to lie. Nothing pending. Nothing promised. And there's our first testimony that she said she hit him with an object. Here comes the cross-examination on the transcript. This is the cross-examination that was offered or given.
Good afternoon,
initially.
Ms. Gordon. How are you today?
I'm good.
Thank you for being here. I know the weather is quite difficult. My name is Jeff Gettings, and I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay?
Yes.
If at any point you don't understand the question or don't understand what I'm saying, please feel free to just let me know. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, it's your testimony that, or isn't it true that you were arrested and placed into the Van Buren County Jail in 2009?
Yes.
And isn't it true that you've now testified that you were there for failure to pay fines and costs?
Yes.
Failing to pay fines, pay what fines and costs?
For restitution.
Restitution for what?
3 years ago, I caught a case for attempted uttering and publishing.
You attempted uttering and publishing. What does that mean?
I knowingly cashed I did not know that the check was stolen, and I cashed a check.
You cashed a check that you did not know was stolen?
Yes.
Well, isn't it true that uttering and publishing requires that you knowingly pass a check that has been false, forged, or altered? It's money that you're not entitled to. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Isn't it that what uttering and publishing is?
No.
That's not?
No.
Isn't it true? Think you pled guilty to the crime?
I did plead guilty to the crime.
Are you now telling me that you're not guilty of that crime?
I'm telling you that I was guilty of cashing a check not knowing it was stolen.
Well, isn't it true that you admitted to the judge at the time of your guilty plea while under oath after having sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, that you were guilty of that offense that you pled to?
Because that was the offense that I was charged with, and it was dropped to attempted uttering and publishing.
So you attempted to pass a false, forged, or otherwise altered document that you were not entitled to?
Yes.
But you were stopped in the preparation of that offense?
Yes.
That's what attempt means?
Yes.
So, okay. And then the judge had ordered you to pay restitution for that passing or your attempted passing of that false check. The restitution was actually for the check that was cashed. Isn't that true?
The restitution was for that, yes. That was for that.
Okay, so the charge against you was reduced from uttering and publishing, a felony punishable by up to 15 years in prison, to attempted uttering and publishing.
Yes.
And then you failed to do what the court had ordered you to do. 3 years passed and you were picked up.
Yes, because I'm disabled.
How are you disabled?
I cannot work. I have medical conditions to where I cannot work right now.
Do you currently take medication, prescription medications for those conditions?
Yes, I do.
What medications are you on?
I take Lortab.
What's Lortab?
It's a pain medication because I have cancer.
Are you currently taking any medications other than Lortab?
I take Xanax because I have PTSD disorder and panic disorder.
PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes, sir.
Were you diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder?
5 years ago, 6 years ago, sorry.
What is the diagnosis of panic disorder?
It's the extreme panic disorder of going in public, of being around a group of people.
And you take Xanax so that you won't panic when you're around a group of people?
Yes.
Were you prescribed Xanax at the time that you were incarcerated in the Van Buren County Jail?
I was not allowed to take them in the county jail.
So at the time that you were at the time that you were incarcerated in the Van Buren County Jail in 2009, you were not taking Xanax?
No, because you cannot have narcotics in the county jail system.
You were not taking your Lortab?
No, because you cannot have narcotics in the county jail system.
What other medications have you been prescribed that you were not taking at the time that you were in?
I take Seroquel at that time. I couldn't afford it in the county jail because I have no insurance.
What is Seroquel?
Seroquel is for insomnia and for mood disorders.
What mood disorder have you been diagnosed with?
Bipolar 2.
What is bipolar 2?
Bipolar 2 is a mood swing disorder. It is a mental condition of you have mood swings. Your elevation of moods go up and down. It's a mood stabilizer. It's also for insomnia.
Seroquel, Xanax, Lortab. What other medications were you not taking at the time that you were in the county jail?
That's it.
Have you been diagnosed with any other mental or emotional disorders other than panic disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, and bipolar?
No.
Ms. Gordon, have you ever been convicted of any other theft-related crimes or crimes involving dishonesty, like attempted uttering and publishing?
I have one other charge that was a misdemeanor of a theft at Walmart.
When did that occur?
I can't recall the date, the year. I know it was probably 2000, I want to say 5, maybe even 6.
And the reason you can't recall is because you have difficulty with your memory as a
Walmart.
result of post-traumatic stress disorder and panic disorder and bipolar.
Yes.
When you were incarcerated at the Van Buren County Jail, you had access to a television. Is that true?
Yes, I had access to a television, but not until after I was already moved from the cell. I was in with Miss Stermer to cell 1.
You also had access to other media reports, newspapers.
No.
No?
No.
Did you have access to other persons as a source of information? Did anybody come and visit you at the jail?
The only one that came to visit me at the jail was my father and my fiance at the time, but they didn't have TV at the time and they don't watch the news.
So both your father and your fiance were persons who came to visit you?
Yes.
And that's it? No other friends, no other family?
Nope.
In the several months that you were there at the jail, is that a yes?
Yes.
Did you know Linda Stermer?
No.
Before she came to jail?
No.
She was arrested on June the 5th of 2009. When she initially came to jail, she was put in what you refer to as a tank. Is that right?
Yes, it's like a holding cell for inmates when they come in.
until they've been assigned to another cell.
Yes.
Now the tank has another purpose besides being where people are initially put when they are arrested. It's also used as a disciplinary tool.
Yes, it is.
Now, you were in the tank. You hadn't just been arrested. You were there as a disciplinary action. Is that true? Is that yes?
Yes.
Detective Sergeant Macioski and Detective Gabriel Rout, were the two persons who interviewed you on October the 28th. Is that right?
Yes.
Isn't it true, madam, that when you were first asked by the detectives whether or not Ms. Stermer had made any statements to you, you told them that she did ask for forgiveness, but you could not remember anything further?
Yes, they did ask me that, and yes, she did ask for forgiveness.
Isn't it true that you told the officers that that's all that you could remember and you could not remember anything further?
I did not say that was all I could remember. I said at the present moment that was all that I could remember.
Isn't it true that it was Detective Macioski that suggested to you that Linda Stermer has struck her husband as opposed to you telling him that first?
No, he did not suggest that to me.
So when Detective Macioski writes in his report that he attempted to jar your memory by asking if she had heard Linda Stermer doing chapel make any statements as to striking her husband, he must be lying in his report.
It was a question that he asked me if there was anything I could remember about her striking, hitting, or anything else.
And so Detective Macioski, after you had told him you could not remember anything further other than her asking for forgiveness, suggested to you that she had struck her husband. Is that true?
Yes, to be honest with you,
Madam, I haven't asked you any other questions, and it wouldn't be appropriate for you just to make comments, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any contact with Ms. Stermer since your release from jail?
No.
Did you visit? So you never visited her, she's never visited you, there hasn't been any contact, is that right?
No.
So this friendship that you claim you developed with her while you were incarcerated evaporated upon your release, or upon her release from jail?
Yes.
She was actually released from jail before you were, right?
Yes.
You made no attempt to come forward with any of this information to the Sheriff's Department, to a detective, to a guard, or anyone during the course of your incarceration. Is that right?
That's true.
You didn't make any statements to the police or other law enforcement authorities about this at the time when you claimed these statements were being made. Is that right?
That's true.
And even after Ms. Stermer was released from jail in August of 2009, you didn't come forward to any point in time then, did you?
That is true.
And Madam, isn't it true that Detective Macioski indicated to you or brought to your attention, used the word frying pan before you made any statements about having been struck with any kind of object? Isn't that true?
Yes.
And later Detective Rout asked you, are you sure about that? Being that Detective Macioski had mentioned the possibilities of a frying pan, Detective Rout asked you, are you sure that isn't true, that you then said, well, you don't know about the frying pan, only that she did strike her husband. Is that right?
I did say that.
And so even during your interview with the detectives, Detective Macioski was suggesting information to you. You were including that in your statement, and then you were retracting it later. All during your one interview with the police, is that right?
Yes.
You continue to suffer from memory problems that you are a result of a post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, and anxiety disorder. Is that true?
Yes, I do continue to suffer from them.
Are you currently being treated for those?
Yes, I am.
All right. But they continue to affect your ability to recall things in a clear and precise way. Is that right?
I wouldn't say that. It affects me to be able to decipher from right and wrong.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you whether or not your memory continued to be impacted by the lower tab, Xanax, Seroquel, your disorders of panic, post-traumatic stress disorder, mood disorder, bipolar. Those things affect your ability to accurately recall events. Isn't that true?
It plays a part in it, yes.
What else plays a part in your inability to accurately recall things?
Stress.
All right. What else plays a part? Stress, post-traumatic stress disorders, anxiety disorders, mood disorders, bipolar disorder, and your various prescriptions for those things. Basically nothing else?
That's my part.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Basically nothing else. I take medication for that.
Don't read her part.
Amber Papish was also in your cell. Isn't that true?
Not with me at the present moment, no, or not.
You are not currently incarcerated.
She was not in the cell at the time that me and Miss Stermer were in the cell together.
When did she come into the cell?
Amber came into that cell shortly after I left.
Amy Lauren, she was also incarcerated with you. Isn't that true?
Yes, Amy Lauren was also incarcerated with me.
And Linda Barton, isn't it true that she also was incarcerated with you and Miss Stermer?
Yes, she was.
I don't have any other questions, Your Honor.
A little more reading, a little more reenactment.
Just a couple more questions. Miss Gordon, it was Officer Maciowski that brought up the question if Linda Stermer had used any object such as a frying pan. He's the one that brought that up?
He brought it up, yes.
Okay. And you understand that we want you to testify to what you remember, not what was suggested to you.
Exactly. That's why when he asked me the question, I said, all I remember is that she said she struck him with an object.
Also, during the course of that conversation, according to his report and Detective Rout's report, is that Linda told you that she was there because she had killed her husband and she had started a fire and that she had used gasoline. Nobody suggested that to you, did they?
No, they did not.
Thank you. No other questions.
Isn't it true that that information had previously been reported in the media?
No, it was not, because I did not watch television at the time. I was not in the cell with any kind of television or any way to be able to see that.
That wasn't my question. That wasn't it.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the next question then, because she said she doesn't watch television and wasn't aware of it. She wouldn't know whether or not it was in the media.
We've got the objection read in. Now the judge has a part. Judge, this is your part.
Yeah.
Judge. Sorry. Follow along in your script.
I don't know what the next question is, so let's hear it.
You know what? I'm not even going to bother. That's it. I'm done.
judge
may
it.
step down.
There you go. That is funny. I've never seen the judge have a part to play.
Approach, please.
She's like, hey, you didn't warn me that I had a role in this one. I thought you guys were acting it out in my courtroom in the playhouse in front of the audience, or I mean the courtroom in the gallery. Oh man, good job. I think as far as hiring people, definitely Miss Fisk. Yes, you got the part. The state prosecutor, no. But I do think on the defense side, I would hire him only because he did a better job reading than he did doing his own sort of like stand-up routine. So if I can keep him to script, I think that would be better for us. So I think we'll add him to our cast of characters.
Okay, jury, an instruction for you. The testimony of Dardita Gordon was read into this trial because she is not available. This testimony was taken under oath at an earlier hearing. You should consider this testimony in the same way you consider any other testimony you have heard in court. Thank you. Ms. Siderbean, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please call Corey Pierce to the stand, please.
Corey Pierce is next. Lizzie Dog, 23 months, OG. And this is why they're lawyers, jurists, not actors. The transcript was read by Heather Fisk. Dardita
Raise your right
Gordon
hand.
was the
Do you
witness.
solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're
passed
about to
away.
give in this cause will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please have a seat, and once you're settled in, I'll have you move the microphone close to your mouth and tell us your full name and spell the last.
Corey Lee Pierce, Pierce.
Thank you, Ms. Ayden. Thank you. Good morning, or good afternoon, Mr. Pierce.
Good afternoon.
And can you explain to the jury why you have a different last name?
My biological dad had dropped me off at my aunt and uncle's when I was about 2 years old, and I grew up with them and they raised me.
So who raised you?
My aunt and uncle,
And what are their names?
Linda and Todd Stermer.
And did you think of them as your parents?
Yes, I called them Mom and Dad.
At the time of the fire, how old were you?
17.
Can you explain to the jury, kind of with the layout of the house, where your bedroom was, where your brother slept?
So our bedrooms were in the basement. As you go down the stairs, as you turn to the right, we had a kind of a recreational room right there, and then a downstairs living room. And then in the back corner, there were 2 large bedrooms in each corner down there.
And did you share a bedroom or did you have your own?
I was sharing it with my brother Trevor at the time, and then Trenton's room was right next to that one. They were connected.
Right by each other?
Yep.
And was there a loft area that your dad was working on?
Yeah, so that had just gotten finished. The loft area was Trevor's bedroom.
So that was going to be Trevor's bedroom?
Yes.
But at the time of the fire, were all 3 of you still sleeping downstairs?
Correct.
Do you recall the night before the fire?
Yes.
And had you heard any fighting that night?
Yes, so I had heard a lot of arguing, yelling, and my dad had found out that Linda was cheating on him.
So I can rephrase the question. Do you know what the fight was about?
Yes.
And what was the fight about?
Unless, does he know from personally observing it? Or
He heard
is
it, Your
gonna
Honor.
And why is it being offered?
Why is it being offered?
The objection is hearsay.
Oh, I can actually ask in terms of what he heard his mother say.
Okay.
Yeah. Could you tell me what you heard Linda say, what the fight was about?
That night?
Yeah.
So Linda was claiming that she didn't cheat on our dad, and he
And then you heard more yelling.
I heard more yelling at that point.
And where were you when Linda and your dad were arguing?
Downstairs in my bedroom.
And you could hear it?
Yes, could hear pretty clear.
Do you recall, you said you were in bed?
Yeah.
So do you recall approximately like how late this was?
I can't remember the time.
But you had already gone to bed?
Yes.
Did your brothers also go to bed?
Yeah.
All three of you were in bed?
Yeah, we went to bed at the same time usually.
Did any of you get up?
No.
But you could clearly hear upstairs?
Yeah.
That night that you heard this fighting between Linda and your dad, did Linda come downstairs to the basement?
Not during that night that I know of.
She didn't come down and watch TV?
Not that I know of, no.
She didn't come down and snuggle with you on the couch?
No.
At any time that night before the fire, did you hear your dad come downstairs?
Not that I recall.
Didn't hear him go into the furnace room?
No.
How close was your bedroom to the furnace room?
It basically almost touched it. It was just on the other side of the wall, kind of kitty corner.
Shared a wall?
Yes.
Was the basement 100% finished?
It had just gotten finished. As far as I recall, had just gotten finished, yes.
So you had drywall?
Had drywall.
Did you have carpet?
We didn't have carpet down there.
Didn't have carpet yet?
No.
Did you have area rugs?
I don't remember an area rug.
Was the ceiling finished?
Yes.
Okay. Was it drywalled?
I think it was drywall, yes.
Growing up, did you ever see your parents get physical with each other?
No.
Did you ever see any marks or bruises on Linda?
No.
Do you recall waking up the next morning, the day of the fire?
Yes.
And you were in your bedroom?
Yeah.
And what woke you up?
I was already awake at the time. I just woke up on my own that morning.
Did you hear anything?
I heard somebody walking down the stairs.
And who was that?
Linda.
And then what did she do?
She came into the room, into my bedroom, sat on the end of my bed, and then I sat up, and she told me that I needed to help my brothers get around and get dressed real fast, and she wanted me to take them out to movie and breakfast that morning.
Did she say why?
She told me that they were going to get divorced and they were going to decide how to split everything up.
Did she tell you what this fight was about?
She didn't bring up the fight at that point. She just told me that they were getting divorced and wanted to decide how to split everything up.
And she told you to go where?
She told me to take my brothers out to breakfast and a movie.
Did she give you any money?
Yes, she gave me some money.
Do you remember how much?
No, I can't recall.
So what did you do?
I asked her why we needed to sneak out, and she said that she wanted our dad to think we were still in the basement.
Did she say why she wanted your dad to think that?
Yes.
What'd she say?
She said that if he thought we were still in the basement, excuse me, that they wouldn't argue as much, and that it would be easier to figure out how to get through the divorce, stuff that they were going to go through.
So because of that, she wanted you to sneak out?
Yes.
She tell you not to talk to your dad?
Yes.
Did you go out the basement door or or a different door?
No, we went up through the upstairs door.
So when you went upstairs, what did you see upstairs?
I walked upstairs and my two brothers were behind me, and Linda was on the side blocking the living room, and I kind of glanced over there as I was leaving, and it looked like I saw my dad just sitting in the chair with his arm kind of resting on the side.
Did you see his face?
No.
Did you try to talk to him?
I did not, no.
Did you see any of your brothers go and try to talk to him?
Yeah, so Trenton was behind me. He tried to go around her and say goodbye, and she blocked him and wouldn't let him go over there.
And you saw this?
Yes.
So what happened when she was blocking?
I said, Trenton, come on, let's just go. And we both walked towards the door.
What was the common practice at your house as far as talking to your parents before you left?
We would always give our parents a hug and kiss goodbye and tell them that we loved them.
Did you do that every time you left?
Every time, yes. It
So
was a general rule that we couldn't go to a friend's house, we couldn't go anywhere unless we had said goodbye.
You didn't get to say goodbye that day, did you?
No.
Do you remember if there was a fire in the fireplace?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what car you took to the mall?
Yes, we took the black Blazer.
Did your mom come out, did Linda come out and to the Blazer when you left?
I don't recall.
Do you remember how you got the keys?
The keys were already in the Blazer.
Was it common practice for Linda to leave her purse in the car?
No.
Did she ever drive the van?
I don't really remember her ever driving the van.
Is that your dad's primary vehicle?
Yeah, that was his work vehicle.
Do you remember seeing Linda's purse before you left?
Yes.
And where was her purse located?
It was on the counter. When you walked up the stairs, you could see it directly on the counter straight ahead of you. Sorry.
Was that in the kitchen area?
Kitchen area, yes, right at the top.
And you remember seeing it when you walked up?
Yes.
Is that a common place for her to keep her purse?
Yeah, just on the counter up there.
Where did you go in Kalamazoo?
We went to the mall, ate some food, and then we went to a movie.
Did you drive?
I was driving, yes.
Do you remember if the Blazer had a full tank of gas?
I don't remember the amount of gas in there.
Did you get a phone call as you were watching the movie?
Yes.
What was that phone call?
That phone call was from my friend Steven. He lived down the road just a little bit, and he called me and said that our house was on fire.
I'm not offering it for the truth of the matter, just to only describe why he left the movie and his next action.
I'll allow it for that purpose.
So once you got that call, what did you do?
At first I hung up and I thought he was joking. He was kind of a prankster, and he kept calling my phone and I didn't answer it, and then he ended up calling my brother Trevor's phone and told him that it was serious and we needed to get home.
Did you leave at that time?
Yes, then we left.
Did you head back to your house?
Yes, we went straight back home.
What did you see when you got there?
Police cars, a bunch of smoke coming out of the roof of the house, somebody had seen us pull up, and I didn't really see too much of anything else. We were put in the back of a cop car.
So you stayed in the police car?
Yeah.
You didn't go up to the house?
No.
And then did you stay in that police car for a while?
Yeah, they told us to wait there until they came back.
Were you aware if Linda had a cell phone?
Yes.
Do you know if she had more than one cell phone?
Yeah, she had 2 phones.
And how do you know that she had 2 phones?
I had seen her use both of them on different occasions.
Did she ever ask you to get any bills or pick up any bills for her?
Yes.
What did she ask you to do?
So she called me and asked me to grab the mail that was going to be on the porch, and there was going to be a phone bill within that mail, and she asked me to hide the phone bill.
Did she tell you who to hide it from?
Yes, my dad.
Did Linda ever talk to you prior to the fire about them divorcing or who you might want to live with?
She had brought it up a couple times.
Do you recall how close to the fire that was?
No, I can't recall.
Do you ever remember your dad working on the furnace in the past while you were living at that house?
No.
Do you ever remember a time when there wasn't heat in the house or that it was cold?
No.
Did Linda ask you to move boxes of photos or any photos out to the shed before the fire?
No.
At your home, did you have a snowblower?
A snowblower?
A snowblower.
No, not that I remember. I don't remember a snowblower.
Do you guys have lawnmowers?
We had an old lawnmower.
Was it common to keep gas cans on the property?
Yes.
And where would those be stored?
Either in the shed or in our barn. We made like a barn with overhangs where the tractor and the lawnmower would have been. So
the
gas cans would have been with the tractor underneath of the overhang, or with it inside the shed there behind the house.
Any reason there should have been a gas can in the front yard?
No.
Did Linda ever talk to you about what happened after the fire?
It was brought up within car rides.
Car rides with who?
My other 2 brothers.
And what did she say about the fire?
It depended on the time. The stories changed a few different times.
Do you recall what they were and how they changed?
The first time that Trenton asked her about it, she had told us that she was downstairs doing laundry and she heard yelling, and when she looked up the stairs there was too much smoke, and so she ran out the basement door.
And then did the story change?
The story changed a few different times.
What did it change to?
Another time she heard yelling, she ran up the stairs and saw her dad in the living room on fire, and she couldn't do anything because the smoke and the heat was too much, and so she ran out the front door. Another time she ran upstairs and there was too much smoke and she couldn't see anything and ran out the front door.
Did you ever ask her about the differences that she was telling you?
I never did, but my brother Trenton was very adamant about pushing her on her stories.
Did that happen in front of you?
Yes.
What happened when he would push her?
She would start screaming and One time she pulled the vehicle over on the side of the highway and started slapping him. He was in the back seat. Other times she would just start screaming and crying and saying, "How dare you call me a liar?" And she would tell Trevor to silence him, shut him up, and she would allow Trevor, our other brother, to punch him and physically attack him to keep him, to shut him up.
Whoa.
Did Linda ever tell you what to say prior to you being interviewed?
Yes.
And you were spoken to by the insurance company?
Correct.
Is witness tampering?
What did she tell you before you were interviewed?
She told me that the insurance company's job was basically to try to prevent us from getting insurance money, and
she was right.
They were going to ask us questions, and then she would tell me what the questions would be and how to answer them.
What did she tell you to say?
She said they'll probably ask about our marriage and if we had any issues within the marriage, and you'll need to tell them that there weren't any issues that you ever seen, that the marriage was good and that they were happy together, and if I had ever heard of financial issues, to just tell them that I didn't know, I had never heard of anything.
She asked you then to write out a list of your belongings?
Yes.
What did she say about that list of your belongings?
She had me and my brothers go through it and write out a list of belongings, and she told us that once she got the insurance money that we would get the money back for all of our possessions, so we needed to itemize each thing that we could remember. And so we did this for a few weeks. We'd keep remembering things and we'd write them down, and she would tell us to write down how many you think of something you have, how much you think it was worth, put that amount next to it, and once we got the insurance money, that we would be compensated for all of our belongings that we had on those lists.
And did she say what would happen if you didn't say what she told you to?
She said that we wouldn't get anything. They would just not give us the insurance money,
and that's why you had to say what she wanted you to say?
Correct.
Is that why you said what you said?
Yes.
Did Linda ever tell you where the van was at the time of the fire?
In one of her stories, it was at the bottom of the hill. When she ran out of the basement, she got in the van to go get help. And then another time it was at the top, where we always parked it at the top, and she had hopped in it to go try and get help.
At the time of the fire, you said you were 17?
Yes.
And did you live then with Linda for a period of time?
Yes.
Did you live with Linda while you were going through these insurance statements? She was your sole support at that time?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
We have half an hour more before we're going to be done with court. We may get another witness tonight.
You're a grown man now. I'll call you Mr. Pierce. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I will try to keep this brief. You mentioned you were talking about keys in the car, remember?
Yes.
In the Blazer. You live in a rural area, obviously, right?
Correct.
It was not uncommon for folks out in the rural areas like you to leave keys in the car, right?
I don't know about other people. We wouldn't leave our keys in the car, though.
You would, right?
No, we wouldn't.
Well, in the Blazer, the keys were there that day, right?
Yes.
Are you aware your dad's wallet was found in the van that day? That was his work van?
No.
You're not aware of that?
I'm not aware of that, no.
Okay. You talked about purse, and your mom's purse was on the kitchen, right?
Correct.
Possible she had more than one purse, isn't it?
It's possible, yes.
Growing up until Ms. Stermer got arrested in June of 2009, you had a very close relationship with your mom, right?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. You had a close relationship with your dad?
Yes.
You don't like your mom very much, do you?
No.
Okay. The cell phone that you said there were 2 phones your mom had?
Yes.
Okay. One was her own phone and one was a work phone, right?
One was her own phone, and the other, she had told me, was a work phone.
Okay. You believe it was a work phone, and that's what you told the police officers when you were interviewed, right?
I don't recall.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor? Okay.
This will be easy to clear up on redirect. She had told you it was a work phone. Is it normal to get a work phone? That was loud. To hide the phone bill.
I'll show you a police report, and I'm just directing you to page 3. Page 1 was August of 2007. You see that? August 10th?
Yep.
That sound about right when you were interviewed? Do you remember being interviewed?
By who?
By the police.
I don't remember any interviews by the police.
I want you to read just this little part that's highlighted on page 3. Page 3 of the, right at the top third. You there?
Yep.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Jonas. Hope you had a great party. Thank you, Iris. Thanks for sharing his birthday with us.
It says, investigating officer also asked if his mother had a cell phone, which he stated she had 2 cell phones, which he identified as one being a regular phone and the other being a work phone. Does that jog your memory?
I guess I would ask if you could please stop testifying and ask questions.
Does that jog your memory that that's what you told the officer?
I'll overrule that.
No.
This is okay.
I don't remember talking to the officers about that.
At all?
No.
And now he can't.
If you were talking to police officers, you would have been truthful with them, right?
I don't know. If my mom was around, then I'm not sure.
You don't remember if your mom was around or not around?
No, I don't remember the conversation.
Okay. Do you recall, in terms of the cell phone and the cell phone bills, that you would run up the cell phone bill talking to your mom or talking to your girlfriend a lot?
Yes.
In fact, back then, I mean, we have unlimited now, but back then you had limited minutes on family plans.
Yes.
Remember? So you and your mom, because you would run up the phone, remember not showing Dad the phone bills so you wouldn't get in trouble?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
And that you would have to pay for part of the bill because you were running up the bill with your girlfriend?
I would have to pay for part of that, yes.
The day of the fire, when you went to the mall, when you saw your dad, you didn't know if he was on the chair or on the couch in the living room, right?
I believe he was on the chair when I saw him.
May I approach, Your Honor? Do you remember testifying at a prior hearing?
Yes.
And I should look at page 150 if you would.
He's impeaching him with the fine details of the last time he saw his dad. This is some tough lawyer work right here.
Okay. In line 14, you were asked, do you remember whether he was on the couch or in a chair? And your answer was, it was one of the two. I just didn't really see him. I saw his leg, really.
Yes.
Remember being asked that question now that you look at it?
Yes.
Okay. You were under oath, right?
Yes.
You swore to tell the truth.
Yes.
And your memory would have been better back in 2010 than it is now, 15 years later, right?
Yes.
If you were asked that question, that's the answer you gave, that would have been the truth, right?
Yes.
As far as you knew, he was watching TV.
I can't say that he was watching TV. I don't know.
I asked you to look at line 18, same page. The question was, so he's in there, and as far as you know, he was watching TV. Your answer?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Memory was better then. Yes?
Yes.
You were sworn to tell the truth, and you did tell the truth. Yes?
As far as I know, he could be watching TV. He could have been doing anything, yes.
You did tell the truth.
Yes.
Okay. When you were asked by your mom, by Linda, to go to the mall, she didn't seem nervous at all, did she?
She seemed, I wouldn't say nervous, no. I would say more urgent.
She was calm?
No.
No? I'd ask you to take a look at page 158 again. Line 17 to 23. You see that?
Yes.
You were asked under oath back then in 2010, when your mom came and told you and your brothers to go see a movie or go to the mall, she was calm at that time, right?
I would say...
Your answer was, yeah, she seemed calm.
Yes.
Next question. She didn't seem upset or excited or scared or angry or anything like that. Is that true? And your answer was right.
Right.
When you were under oath back in 2010, you swore to tell the truth. That was the truth, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm sure your dad loved that house, right?
Yes.
Well, your mom loved that house too, right?
Yes.
And you had a cat at the time named Carrie?
No.
You had a cat?
No.
You did not have a cat?
No.
Are you saying the family didn't have any cats?
I don't remember any cats at that time. My cat had been hit by a car before that.
Okay. If you had cats in the house at the time, your mom loved animals, right?
Yes.
Dogs, cats, horses?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
You don't know if any cats survived the fire, do you?
I don't remember having cats at the time.
Okay. And that morning, your mom had told you that they were planning on getting divorced, right?
Yes.
And they were going to talk about splitting up the property, right?
Correct.
So she wanted you and Trenton and Trevor, at least to make it seem like you were in the house, so the argument wouldn't be so big and loud, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's why she said, look, I don't want you to say bye to your dad because I want this to be calm this afternoon, right? Calmer.
That's what she said, correct.
And it's not the first time they ever talked about, or your mom or dad ever told you about they might get divorced?
No.
Right. It happened a few times, a couple months before for sure, right?
I don't know the time frame, but before.
Before, and your mom told she might live with her sister-in-law or her stepsister. Remember that?
I don't remember that.
Okay. If you told somebody under oath that, would that have been true?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Cody is doing a great job on the stand.
I ask you to read page 25, line 18 to 24.
He clearly does not like Linda, but
read it.
He's
yourself.
not,
Okay.
He's
Let me
not
know when
taking
you
that
do.
out on the lawyer. I don't think he's falling for the bait that the lawyer's trying to set out for him to try to really corner him and get him to be confrontational and look bad in front of the jury. So I don't think this is really moving the needle as far as what the jury has really internalized from Cody's testimony.
Does that refresh your memory that your mom had told you sometime before that she might go, or you all might go live with her stepsister?
No, I don't remember.
It doesn't jog your memory at all?
No.
If you said that under oath, that would have been true, right?
Yes.
You just don't remember now?
No.
It's been so long.
Right.
Do you recall telling our jury just a little bit ago that you would store gas cans, family gas cans in the shed or the garage? The shed or where? Or the lean-to?
Like a barn lean-to.
Okay. And it was, you wouldn't store them in the front yard, right?
No.
Or in the front porch or anything?
In the front porch? No.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to look at that transcript at page 159 if you would. And look at, should be highlighted, lines 10 through 22. Let me know when you're done.
Okay.
Good?
Yep.
All right. Were you asked, and you were asked about questions about what's on the property, tractors, lawnmowers, those kind of things, right?
Right.
And then you were asked, there were multiple gas cans at the property that were kept either outside in the shed or sometimes empty gas cans that would be by the front porch. Is that true? And your answer was?
Yes.
Then you were asked the question, and it wasn't uncommon for an empty gas can to be kept there by the front porch area so it could be put in the vehicle and taken to the gas station. Is that right? And your answer?
Yes.
Okay. That was true at the time you gave it under oath?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, it wouldn't be uncommon for your mom or your dad to take gas to the gas station, right? Or you. Things have to get filled up. True?
True.
Usually it falls on the kids when you get driving age, right?
Yeah.
Now you said it was not the van was your dad's work van, right?
Correct.
But if the Blazer was gone, did you have your own car?
I don't remember if my car was working at that time or not. I had a green Cavalier though.
Okay. If it wasn't working and somebody was in the Blazer, let's say you took the Blazer because your car wasn't working, there'd only be a van left, right?
Correct.
So somebody would have to drive the van, and whether it's mom or dad.
Correct.
Certainly mom wasn't prevented from driving the family van, right?
No.
Okay. And you testified that the night before you didn't hear your dad downstairs, if he came downstairs to mess around with the furnace, right?
Right.
Because you were sleeping. True?
True.
Right. And you were a student at the time, right?
I would have been in high school, yes.
Okay. So you're gone, you're not at home often. True? You're either at school, maybe you're with a girlfriend, maybe with friends, right?
I went out. Yeah.
Okay. So you wouldn't know if your dad was working on the furnace on any given time if you weren't there.
Correct.
Right. And simply because you didn't hear him doesn't mean he wasn't working on the furnace at some point during the day before, right?
Right.
Or 2 days before.
Correct.
Right? Now, I can give you just 1 minute.
Amber, do you have the reference on the page number where in that document? I've searched and I can't see it. Saw your message, but let me know. Anything else you're going to ask him? Linda wants to go into one more area. This is Linda's question here.
When you were in school, I mean, did you have buddies?
Yes.
All right. Would your mom come up to school sometimes?
Yes.
All right. And when your mom came up to school, would your buddies all say hi to her?
I really don't understand what the relevance of her going to the school is at this point.
He just said he didn't have a good relationship with his mom. I'm exploring that because I think that they did. Thank you. Your friends all like your mom?
I don't think so. But
Would you hug her when she'd come up to school?
yes.
And your friends would?
What's that?
And your friends would too?
I don't recall.
Okay. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Ms. Ayden?
Thank you, Your Honor. You said that you were in bed and you heard the arguing the night before the fire, right?
Yes.
And your room borders or shares a wall with the furnace room, you said?
Yes.
So is it fair to say you weren't really sleeping very sound late into the evening?
No, I would have been awake for a little bit.
And you didn't hear anything in the furnace room the night before?
No.
And it felt like you wanted to explain maybe when Attorney Mueller asked if Linda was calm, upset, or angry, felt like you wanted to explain a little bit more. Was there something more you wanted to say?
She was calm in a sense, but she said we needed to hurry, and she wanted us to be quick. She wanted me to get my brothers around quickly and get them out of the house.
Did she tell you when to come home that day?
I don't recall.
Is there anything that your family would have been using a 1-gallon gas can for in January?
I disagree. I'll allow it.
I can't remember. I don't know.
You said there was no snowblower, right?
No.
And it's January, so you wouldn't be using a lawnmower, right?
All right.
Would you?
I will sustain as the leading.
Would you be using a lawnmower in January?
No.
Any reason you can think for a 1-gallon gas can to be in your front yard?
I can't think of anything.
I'll allow the last question and answer.
And when you talked to the police, Linda was telling you what to say, is that correct?
That was leading.
Allow it for redirect, just to keep things moving.
At the time I was living with her, she was telling me what to say when people would ask me questions. Yes.
And were you living with her when you had to testify at a court hearing?
Yes.
And were you living with her when you had to go through interviews with the insurance agent?
Yes.
Today you're a grown man, right?
Yes.
And she's not telling you what to say today?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Wow. This takes us to the weekend.
You said when you gave testimony in a hearing that you were living with your mom?
Yes.
You gave testimony in a hearing in January of 2010. You weren't living with your mom. You were living with Amanda? You remember that?
No.
Remember having been incarcerated for a crime and then you were living?
Can you approach, please, Counsel?
Ooh. What a dirty trick. Overruled.
Directing you to strike and not consider that last question in any way.
In the winter, sir, did you use the tractor to haul bales of hay around for the horses?
Yes.
Okay. Tractors use gas.
Yes.
Diesel.
And when you'd have friends over, you'd have friends over for paintball parties, right, on your property?
Yes.
And your mom would cook breakfast. They'd stay over.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
How big was that tractor?
It was a large tractor. The wheels on it were probably about 4 foot high, I would guess, if I had to.
Did it take more than a gallon of gas to fill it?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jury, any questions of him? I've got several.
This is going to be insightful. Not just what they're asking, but how these questions get asked from the jury. First of all, I think if the jury is anything like us, they're probably sympathetic to Corey, and are going to be in the way they ask questions. They'll probably be a little more. They'll be gentler. Does that make sense? Instead of confrontational, and it's hard to tell exactly. But I'm just guessing here that might give us some indication of where the jury stands with this particular witness's testimony. Let's see, starting on page 22. I just quickly scanned that section for a couple pages, Amber, and it didn't jump out to me. I'll have to look closer later. Yeah, that was a dirty trick.
Sir, I have some questions from the jury.
Okay.
Did you have fire alarms in the house?
I can't remember.
Okay. So you wouldn't know of which rooms or if any rooms had them?
No, I can't remember.
Okay. Had Linda ever asked you boys to leave the house when arguing with Todd?
No, that was the first time.
Wow.
Was there a blanket covering Todd when you and your brothers left for Kalamazoo?
I'm not aware of that. No, I'm not sure.
Was the tractor gas or diesel?
I'm not sure on that.
Okay. Counsel, any questions in light of those questions and answers?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, just go ahead.
The jury knows.
You were aware sometimes your mom and dad would have some pretty loud arguments?
Yes.
But this was a situation where the mom told you, we are getting divorced and we need to split up the property. That's why I don't want you to get real loud, right?
Correct.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear that last question of something about tractor and gas.
Whether it was gas or diesel?
Oh, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. No more questions, thank you.
Anything else?
She had talked to you about them getting divorced several times before that day, hadn't she?
Yes.
And this was the first time she'd ever asked you to leave?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
This is the first time she said, we are getting divorced. Before it was general talk, right?
Before it was general talk, yes.
Right. This day was, we are getting divorced and we need to split up the property And I don't want you.
asked and answered at this point.
No.
One more
Last
time.
question. And that's why I want you to leave, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Nothing. Jury, any other questions? No? May he be excused from his subpoena?
I would ask that you please be excused from subpoena, Your Honor.
Agreed. No problem. Okay. Thank you, sir. You're all done, and you're excused from your obligations under your subpoena. Okay. Good place to end.
It's a great place to end, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Oh my goodness. It is a great place to end.
Jury, because we're heading into another long weekend, I'm going to read the same instructions. You'll have them memorized by the end of this trial. You must not discuss this case with anyone, including your family or friends. You must not even discuss it with the other jurors until the time comes for you to decide this case. When it is time for you to decide the case, I will send you to the jury room for that purpose. Then you should discuss the case among yourselves, but only in the jury room and only when all the jurors are there. You must not talk to the defendant, the lawyers, the witnesses, or anyone who may be connected to this case. This means that you may not speak to these individuals, even if it has nothing to do with this case. You should be very cautious about speaking to people because you may inadvertently speak to someone connected to this case. This restriction is necessary to avoid even the appearance of any improper conduct on any person's part. If anyone tries to discuss the case with you or in your presence, tell them to stop. Explain that you are a juror and you are not allowed to discuss the case. If they continue, leave. Report the incident to court staff as soon as you return to court. When the trial is over, these restrictions no longer apply. When the trial is over, you may, if you wish, discuss the case with anyone. The restrictions I'm about to describe are meant to ensure that the parties get a fair trial. In our judicial system, it is crucial that jurors are not influenced by anything or anyone outside of this courtroom. Under the law, the evidence you consider must meet certain standards. For example, witnesses must swear to tell the truth, and the lawyers must be able to cross-examine them. Because information obtained outside the courtroom does not have these safeguards, it could give you incorrect or misleading information that might unfairly favor one side. These restrictions continue until I discharge you from jury service. It is your duty as a juror to decide this case based solely on the evidence you see and hear in this courtroom. You must not consider information that comes from anywhere else. This means that during the trial, you must not read, watch, or listen to news reports about the case, whether in newspapers, on television, on the radio, or on the internet. You also must not research any aspect of the case during the trial. This means research using a cellular phone, computer, or other electronic device to search the internet, as well as research with traditional sources like dictionaries, reference manuals, newspapers, or magazines. You must not investigate the case on your own or conduct any experiments concerning the case, including investigation or experiments using the internet, computers, cellular phones, or other electronic devices. You must not visit the scene of any event at issue in this trial. If it is necessary for you to view or visit the scene, court staff will take you there as a group under court supervision. You must not consider as evidence any personal knowledge you have of the scene. You must not share any information about this case by any means, including cellular phones or social media. This means that even if you are not discussing the case with someone else, you may not post any information about the case on social media websites or in any other manner. If you discover that a juror has violated my instructions, report it to court staff. On that note, I will thank you for another week of service here and wish you a good weekend. And I'll see you Tuesday morning, not Monday.
Tuesday morning we're coming back. And when sorry, let me mute this because it's ringing in my ears. When the judge said, "Is this a good place to break?" And the prosecutor said, "This is a great place to break." That was a jab at the defense because she was 100% right. This witness and the impact it had on the jurors, they will be thinking about this all weekend long. this is going to resonate in their heads, and that you could not have a better point for the jury to just stop and think about what's happened.
Counsel, jury's left. Any matters to address?
Just to update the court on timing, we have 2 witnesses.
Hang on, Ayden.
The other 2 Stermer boys will be testifying on Tuesday. The people will be resting at that time, so that way we would anticipate defense to then start having their witnesses available on Tuesday. And then we would request advance notice of when Mr. Trinkle will be here, because we will have our Sergeant Zero here as well.
He will likely be Tuesday, first witness, maybe a second witness, so it'll be Tuesday.
Go on.
And I expect if the 2 boys go like this last one, mid-morning, they'll be closing by late morning.
So we still think we'll get it to them by Friday probably, or you'll be doing closings anyway Friday?
I haven't seen an updated list, so I'm not sure how many witnesses, so if you guys can just let us know, that'd be great. Thank you.
And then I sent you I guess we'll worry about it if we have to with that one judge.
Yes. So depending on when we're going to start deliberations.
Yeah, if they don't start
If we start deliberations on Thursday or Friday, they have to discuss that again.
Yeah.
Deliberations start Wednesday.
Because I think, didn't that...
It was so noisy. It was so terribly noisy.
Yeah. What did I miss there? I kept it on mute because I didn't want any feedback.
Hang on a second. Ayden. We've got Ayden on the phone, by the way. Let me mute that so there's no loop. I know we've got Mrs. R.A. listening. Mrs. R.A., do you want to talk or you just want to listen? She just wants to listen. She's right down here. Hi.
Hi, Miss R.A.
She nods. Ayden, you saw how this ended. We ended with the first of 3 boys. It sounds like the state has, we've got a long weekend. We're coming back to this trial until Tuesday morning, and the state has 2 more witnesses, and those are the other 2 boys who will be testifying for the state against their mom. This is the big finish for the state, and I've got to say, this was a powerful, powerful witness for the prosecution.
I agree. It's kind of refreshing, and oftentimes we get these trials where the order of the witnesses just doesn't align, and it just is sort of a hard timeline to follow, and you wonder why people go at certain, why they didn't do this or that. I have to say they certainly had plenty of time to prepare, and obviously another trial to learn from, et cetera, but they are hitting it out of the park, as you said, to for their crescendo to end this, because there's nothing, in my opinion, sort of what I had said in chat earlier. For me, obviously why I like being here for trials is because it's, nice to talk to people and keep them loose, while we're doing these heavy cases. But there is always that one moment, when, everything sort of stops and all that, we get back to to what this is about. And I feel like that is that was the witness for me. And, when we're done with this case, we're going to go on to another case, and we're going to go watch some court hopping, and we're going to, we'll all forget about this in, a matter of moments, really. And I find it's important to sort of reflect on that kid's never, he's not a kid anymore, but that guy, he doesn't ever get to forget. He doesn't ever get
35 years old. He's lived this for the last 18 years, and it goes on.
He doesn't get to move on. This is his reality. This is every day. And it's, how awful that he has to, after all this time going through another trial, and, he's got to rehash it again. It's just, he finally gets some semblance in his own life, looks like he has his own kid, and now he's got to go dig up this, demon that he's been dealing with his entire life. So it's always important, at least for me, to sort of reflect on the lasting human suffering these people who are guilty of these crimes cause, because, all these little elements to what she was doing to these kids and manipulating them and, grooming them to say this and steering them this way as little pawns in her cog. And it's just, there are very few things that, really, really get me angered in a way. Like, it's one thing if you're going to take away their father, and that's awful enough, but to somehow make them accomplices or participants against their will, just to sort of for your own benefit and only that is where you cross lines that I don't know that you get to come back from, and you can deal with your own, spiritual side of that on your own time. But like, that's what I'm getting at here.
Yeah,
so
that was tough. And that last comment from the defense attorney, I've got to wonder if the part about him having been convicted was what Linda was saying she wanted brought up. If she's like, bring up the fact that he was arrested. Bring up the fact that he was arrested. Oh, that is heartless.
What is the point? Like, that just shows me, to me that says she knows she's toast. And so if that, because I can't find any strategic, I don't care if he was in jail, for burning the Walmart down. Yeah, I got Walmart in there. But, you know what I mean? I don't care what he was in jail for. There's nothing that he could have been in jail for that was somehow going to make that a productive, jab. So it's just, I often give lawyers a break and benefit of the doubt when people are like, I can't believe this guy's awful, blah, blah, blah. Well, they can't all be awful, right? They can't all be awful. So even if they're nasty and they're terrible, it seems they're terrible. He's not a young man. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt that while they may suck as a personality on in their job, there has to be somewhat of an effective measure to their, or history to their measures. But I don't understand that. Like, I just don't get it. So is it clearly a vindictive, like, I'm going down, I might as well cause any pain I can. What a sad sort of finale to your, miserable life.
This question's been asked, and I think this is just an extension of something that happened earlier that got her to this point in the first place, because so many people have said, haven't you heard of divorce? Instead of murder, don't you know there's another option? And sadly, I think for her things became pretty clouded, and this step that she's taken with the cross examination of her sons and dragging everyone through this. First of all, she has the right to do it. We want to stand up for that. But how does this compare? If she's guilty, how does doing this compare to what she did to Todd? It's not a big step, right?
No, it's not. It's just like I said. It's just a very pathetic way for everybody who the last memory of you, right? Like, none of these people are going to give her any. This is it for her. If this is her finale, and you only get one finale, right? And so what if, unless you're Kiss and you do 5 tours to close it out, but what a pathetic finale. But I just wanted to mention that witness, the friend from work, right? Mm-hmm. How badly Linda misjudged how to manipulate and use her, because that's all Linda does, right? She uses people. Like, she doesn't have relationships. She takes hostages. Okay, she takes emotional hostages and then uses them for her own good, and that's the end of it. But she very much misjudged the risk reward in crossing her, because I firmly believe, because I get the sense that friend was more upset the fact that she was betrayed by Linda, really, in the whole process of what had happened, because she was looking for a best friend.
Yeah.
And I think that woman would have stuck by her no matter what if that $5,000 doesn't happen.
Yeah, if she hadn't been burned and used, and I think she would have had a friend who would have kept secrets and and confidence and everything.
She would have done anything. Okay, I know that look. Okay, I know a look for a person who will break their own moral code for the good of the friendship, for the good of the loyalty, and she has that look for her. And so the fact that she took that money, that was her wake-up call. She couldn't deny it anymore. She had probably wrestled with herself prior, noticed that she wasn't the same kind of friend back, reciprocating it. But that was the moment. And then for her to gaslight and tell her to her face that she never borrowed any money from her.
That was the moment that she knew. That was when all the other signs and everything added up, and it was like, no more. I'm being played and used, and powerful.
It's just, I can't imagine the restraint she had to show to not get physical there. I don't think there's a person in chat that would have faulted her for, I always say, if I'm going to get an assault charge, I'm going to earn it. Okay, yeah. I'm getting my money's worth. Okay, like I'm not getting a discount.
How many times can I hit before it becomes attempted murder? I need to know. Asking for a friend. Ayden, thank you very much. Appreciate your thoughts.
Love you guys. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. First of all, you got to say support your local team, or
not local. hey, everybody just, if it doesn't go against your collegiate moral code, cheer for Duke. It also wouldn't hurt, winning is just great. Like, that's what I really need, is for them to win the last two. And a side bet, if they happen to win by more than 5, it's just a little better. So, like, there's, whatever you got to do. All right.
All right. Good luck to you. Thank you very much. Love to talk to you. It's been too long. Appreciate you, my
yes,
friend.
sir. All right. See you guys.
Love you, man. Bye. All right. Appreciate Ayden calling in, giving us some perspective. I need to show this. This is Red Pen has made this. Let's go here really quickly. This is our new thumbnail. We've got the word of the days added to the Post-it note chart. She's made some improvements on the chart, as you can see here. I particularly like the coffee stain on the bottom. It's a subtle touch, but it was there in the court when they put up that big display, that big exhibit. It had a coffee stain on the bottom. I think it's great. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then we have all of our made-up words that have been listed, and we've corrected it to show that, yes, it does have centilica on there. That was the one that was missing. So Red Pen, as always, as you have done many times before, good work. We're going to use this as our thumbnail. I might make the title a little bit bigger and maybe bold, but I don't want to cover the judge who is shielding her eyes from the blinding sunlight coming in from the courtroom. That's also one of my favorite parts of this. Love it. Good work, Red Pen. Let's see. Anything else to talk about? We are going to be done. I know I've got a gig tonight that I've got to prep for and get some stuff unplugged from here and plugged in some other places. Will we have a court watcher next week? I don't know if anyone's going to be able to go, but here's the schedule. If you're up in the area, do you spy a Red Pen in the thumbnail? Where was it? Oh, you gave the witness a red pen. He was playing with the pen, but it was not that pen. I see it. That was subtle. I see what you've done. A little witness tampering, if I can say so myself. It looks good. Looks good. Red pen in the corner. Let's see. The way the schedule goes is like this. We have Monday off, so we're going to do some court hopping. Possibly, I'm not going to go to Lori Vallow. I'm sorry. That one, I can't. But we'll do some court hopping, some updates, and see what happens there. Then Tuesday, we'll come back to this trial. They say it's going to be done by the end of the week. So we will be probably going to Karen Reed if she starts by the end of the week. I think they're going to start the trial next week. It's early. I don't know where they're at with juror selection. I know they were at 10 this morning. They've probably got a few more now. So that's our schedule. We might have to do some catch up on Karen Reed, which will, it's going to be a long trial. It's not going to be a problem. We'll catch up and skip some of the breaks. But if you're in the area and you are able to go to court, we ask just a couple things. First, follow the rules, and this court seems to be pretty lax when it comes to rules. The judge is laid back. I mean, it's not a knock against her, but she is. Follow the rules, be respectful, and just take a look and watch what happens. Some of the things we can't see from the camera, you've watched it from our perspective. Show us a little bit about how it looks from the other perspective. I see that my mic is about to be stolen. Mrs. Ari has moved into position to. Are you taking it? Here you go. Oh, you just want to see chat? Okay. We'll keep it up there then. But we'd love for you to call in on breaks or everything, and let me know ahead of time so we can save you on the phone and make sure we don't miss your calls. All right. Anything else? We've got a buffer. Are you going to be able to record what I sent to ModChat? I'm going to try to record it right now. Give me just a second because I have to manually type it in. But let me do that while I'm talking and doing our exit. Oh, here goes my mic. Whoa, bye.
Just while he's typing. Oh my gosh, sorry. I don't know what that voice was.
It sounded cool.
I'm getting over a cold and you can hear it. I was wondering as Ayden was talking, it occurred to me. Okay, I'll be out. It occurred to me that Ayden was saying, why on earth would the lawyer do that? Why would you mention that he has a prior? What do you hope that is going to happen from that? And when he said that, it clicked into my head. I was like, oh, he hoped that Cody or Corey, whatever his name is, Corey, he hoped Corey would freak out and look bad in that moment. I don't think that he was hoping that, hang on. Sorry guys, my throat is not awesome. I don't think he was hoping that Corey would say, you got me, I'm a bad guy, and everybody in the jury would say, oh yeah, went to jail, no good for you. I think he was hoping that Corey would lose his temper and look bad in that moment. because he had certainly been needling him up to that point.
So you've missed out a lot on this trial.
I have.
You thought he was a very
nasty human being.
Nasty human being. This was the nicest we've seen him.
What a sweetheart.
You
his lucky
you
wife.
got the cream of the crop as far as his best behavior was.
Wow.
That is his MO in this. He comes in very aggressive.
He's illogical. The way that he puts his questions, I want to scream. I'm like, hang on, you just said, for all you know, he was watching TV. I'm like, yeah. And for all you know, he was wide awake. And for all you know, he was dead asleep. And for all you know, I mean, it's stupid to say, you don't know the answer, therefore I'm going to feed you one that I like.
Yeah. He wants to feed the jury the idea that that's what was going on.
Yeah. And that was super frustrating.
So you just walked out without saying goodbye to your dad because he was watching TV. That's
right.
And it's like, no, I tried to get her on my mom and she was blocking the door. And I
right.
didn't get to say bye to my dad. And
was the bits that he was like, didn't you tell the truth back then? I'm like, were you a terrible questioner back then as well? Because, wow.
I get so frustrated because transcripts are the official record. But so much of the conversation is lost when it's reduced to just letters on a page. Am I too hot?
You're a little hot in my ears.
Test 1, 2. Is that you? Oh, you're 1. You're on 1. Sorry,
I'm number 1.
You're number 1.
That's good.
So much is lost when it's reduced to just words on a page. You lose the inflection, you lose the back and forth, and of course you've got all the problems of people trying to talk over each other. And I was answering the previous question, and now you're asking another one, and now I'm trying to correct, and now the transcript has a no where it should say yes.
Correct.
And we're going to use that and pin you with it.
Yeah.
Because 18 years later, we don't know how it sounded or what was said.
Yeah.
Or he was like, oh, and or the confused look, or sometimes when a witness is talking,
language.
We know they don't understand the question, and they're being adamant. But they're hearing it different in their head. That's why I don't like transcripts. And I think he used every possible way to exploit those little details in the transcript against Corey. But Corey, to his credit, the way he answered, it's like, yeah, it would be more truthful then. I mean, I was telling the truth then.
Yeah.
And he never rose to that bait. He didn't. But he never balled up his fist and clenched his teeth and got to the point where he was just trying to disagree with the attorney because he didn't like the attorney.
Correct.
And for that, I think he kept the jury on his side. And any inconsistencies in his statements between 18 years ago and now is I think the jury will completely forgive him based on the time it's taken and his age.
Yeah, that's true.
Bite me.
Sounded like a... Okay.
I turned up the volume right when you said, bite me. And so, Rebecca, how are you doing? Got you on the phone.
I'm doing fantastic. How are you and Mrs. R.A. doing?
We're doing really well.
Well, good. I love you both.
Thank you.
And so does Buttercup.
Yeah.
And I'm on my way home to her right now. But I want to tell you today was like watching a movie. You know, it was like cliffhanger, and oh my goodness, it was just unreal.
Yeah, I'm not kidding when I say I want to go back and watch this day in court for like the next 7 days. This was an unbelievable day in court, and it just built and built and built and built. And we had good battles between the two tables. We had the judge finally standing up and setting down the rules a little bit more than she has the entire trial. We have witnesses that are spilling tea all over the place, and it's hot.
I know.
And, just amazing. So much of what we like in court. If it weren't about a terrible, terrible situation, it would be a perfect thing to just keep on repeat in the background. But, my heart just breaks for the boys. And Tuesday's going to be the same.
When she said she talked about different ways to get rid of him, my mouth just dropped open. It was like, oh my God, this is it. I mean, how can you you can't ignore that,
I think there was actually more in the first trial when she testified that she was a little more specific about something. And I think she mentioned a fire. Don't quote me on that, but I think in the original trial she mentioned that she also mentioned a possibility of a fire to do it. So,
see, I didn't see the first trial, so this is all new for me. I don't have anything to go by in comparison, because I didn't see the first trial.
Yeah, I'm just going off some of the documents that were filed.
I wonder if we could find it and watch it one day.
I don't think we're going to have time this year. There are so many good court cases coming up. We're just not going to be able to.
I just wanted to tell you how fabulous you are. You're fantastic. We all love you, and you make my day. And I have to admit, I was kind of upset with myself, of course. I was in the lab with my earpods in, and when the young man, the son, was on there testifying, they went dead. And so I was in the lab counting mosquitoes, listening, and then all of a sudden, beep, beep, nothing. And I had to run to my office to go get because I have a left one in or a right one in. I don't have them both in at the same time.
So one's charging while the other one's going.
Exactly.
Rebecca,
yes.
I have a confession. This is terrible of me, but knowing that you work and listen while you're counting mosquitoes, I have this urge at one point to just start saying numbers during the live stream.
I want to tell you
37, 48,
something.
165.
I know. Look, you have no idea when they start spouting off dates and numbers in these trials, and I'm like, okay, just hang on a second. I've had to dump mosquitoes out of a vial. I can't tell you how many times and recount them because I lost my place.
You need a clicker. You need a clicker so you can remember where you are.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I wouldn't tell my boss that, though. I mean, she knows I listen to stuff, but I just kind of don't make a big deal out of it, and everything's cool.
It's awesome. Rebecca, I love that you take us to work. I'm glad we can get you through the day. You do important work. For those who don't like mosquitoes, Rebecca's research that she does, tracking mosquito populations is very important. And appreciate what you do, because I don't want to get bit. And the more you can count, the fewer there are to bite me.
That's right. And we're off to a strong start, so y'all be ready.
Nice. Great.
Last year was kind of a light year, but, we've just started this year. And the year before last was a very crazy, heavy year. I counted over a million mosquitoes last day.
I'm just worried these big tornadoes and everything are pushing all the mosquitoes from down south back up to me. Is that a thing?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it might have something to do with it, but really, dry weather, certain mosquitoes will finally hatch out after it stops raining, of course. And then, of course, rain, tornadoes, and hurricanes. We do treatments from airplanes, aerial sprays, when it gets real bad in the middle of the season. So
you put the chemicals in the jet fuel, right? So the contrails drift down. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how you do it. Rebecca, I'm going to let you go. It's Friday. Appreciate you being here. You do have to go back and watch the part you missed. It was incredible today.
Yes.
It was really good.
I caught the tail end of him, and even that was breaking my heart. So y'all have a fabulous weekend.
Yep.
And we love y'all.
Thank you. We'll see you. Have a
See
good
ya.
one. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
That was Bite Me, as she's known in chat, Rebecca. So now you know her name. Bite Me has to do with mosquitoes, which she counts for work. All right, Josh, I'm recording it right now, so we'll have that. Probably we'll save that for Monday, so we know we have something exciting to start the day with. Just let me know how long it is. I'm watching for the red shirt to go away. So, other than that, where were we? Anything you wanted to say, Mr.
I was quite curious. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Your voice sounds so cool right now.
It's not cool at all. I apologize.
If only we had Deer Park water, I could offer you some.
Have you already complained?
She got water, but it might as well be old bath water.
Okay,
it's like no name brand. Like
I got all.
They couldn't afford to put a brand on it. It's just like shrink wrapped bottles of water. I don't even know if they're sanitized, if they're clean. I don't trust it myself. I wouldn't bathe my pet in that. I'm just saying.
Oh, well, your pet is grateful because it's a cat. I was just curious that you were mentioning that this attorney has been worse with other people. What is he doing that is so egregious?
It's just his tactic, and he's good at what he does. So I will say he's very good at this, but he pushes at people and irritates them, so they start pushing back against anything he says. He makes them be enemies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, because this is a retrial, almost everybody who's on the stand has testified previously. He works in a question, and with his, you would agree that this says this, right? And they want to say no, and they don't, and they come out with something, and he's like, well, we asked you that exact question, or you were asked that exact question in 2009, and you said yes. And that's what he
every
tries
question
to,
that he did that when he was doing that with Corey, every question that he repeated, I was like, that was a bad question. That was a question that had an idea.
You're good.
Inside of the I don't remember what it's called. It's a logical fallacy where you state, hey, inside the question, this is the answer. And you're stuck where you're like, well, I have to say yes or no, but neither of those works. It's not true.
And one of the few areas where this judge has come in several times and issued a ruling is, hey, if you can answer yes or no, and it's a yes or no question, you have to answer yes or no.
I hate that. I hate that.
What it does is it makes the witness have to trust the state that they'll come back and clear it up. And you have to just say, you look at the state, and you're like, write this one down because I want to come back. I want to explain this one. And you say, yes.
How is she?
With a big old asterisk next to it.
How is the state at?
They're doing well at that.
Okay.
They're going back and cleaning things up pretty well. So.
Okay. So are any of these witnesses able to watch the other witnesses?
Only after they're released.
Okay.
Unless they're an expert. So far, I think the fire investigator stayed and the older brother of the victim has stayed in court, but the son left. He was the last witness for the day. So he may be back in court on Tuesday, while the other two boys testify. He'll probably be there to support them, I'm guessing. But yeah, it's
brutal. His little daughter was there. I assume it's his daughter that right as he was opening the doors, he was leaving the courtroom, that she was there. And I just thought, how hard would that be to be walking off of, like, bottling up your emotions and then be like, hi, honey. that would be really.
Just had to go testify against grandma.
Grandma, yeah.
That
would be
that's a tough
so
one.
hard. How's grandma doing? Well, still.
Amber, I can't pull up the map very easily. Hold on one second. Let me find the link. View here. Click there.
So, just from the little bit that I watched today, the attorney's efforts in turning the witness on himself through past what's it called? Witnessing?
Impeachment?
Yeah, trying to impeach them. It was highly ineffective on this particular person. Has it been ineffective on everybody?
It's been more effective on others, but not to a great deal. The core of their testimony has not changed at all. A little detail here and there, and most of that can be forgiven with just the sheer length of time that's happened between the original trial or the original event back in 2007 and now.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think it's a big deal. Why don't they have court on Mondays? I don't know. It could be a prior schedule that the court has lined up. Let me see if I can show this, Amber.
Nobody likes Mondays. We've got a solution. Let's just not do Monday.
Just showing you on the screen right now. This is a list. This is a picture of everybody. I'm starting on the United States because that's where I am.
Oh my gosh.
Of everyone who has checked in and said, this is where I'm watching from.
Oh my goodness.
In the world. And you can see we have a lot in the United States, a lot in Canada, a lot over here in Europe and UK, over here in Scandinavian countries
South America,
as well.
guys. Come
South
on.
America, represent. We've got France on the list, Spain, Portugal, a little bit in South America. Way over here, we've got a few. Let's see.
Wow.
Greeners is still in Guantanamo Bay, I think.
Hang on.
Australia, New Zealand, Hawaii, Alaska, just wonderful. So if you want to get on this list, Amber has posted this.
That's astounding, but is there any sort of lie detector? Are people like, I'm in Zimbabwe?
We're all sworn to tell the truth here.
Okay.
Nobody's going to lie on their, here's where I'm from. Plus you can go in there and you can search for an area or zoom in and you can see, it would only show one person per town. So if you want to be as specific as possible, or if you want to show up on the map, you might say, I'm from a little tiny town with only 3 people in it that's actually like 5 miles away from there. That's how you would show up on the map. But if you search for somebody by name, it'll show you where they're at, generally. So don't give us your whole address.
Maybe we're probably not going to be on there because there was somebody from our little town that's on there. I don't know if they're on the map.
Someone from hometown.
Which is amazing.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have? It's the weekend. Do we have dinner tonight? You got big plans for dinner?
Yeah. I'm not going to eat until it gets way, way colder.
It's just cooking's no fun when it's hot outside.
It's really hot.
Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all. I think we just hit that button.
Okay.
And we play the music. Today has been absolutely fantastic. This has been an amazing trial to watch. It's growing on me. I am invested. I can't go anywhere now, so we're going to stick this one out to the end. Soon, though, we will be jumping to the Karen Reed trial. That's coming up next. We're going to watch that as if we were brand new jurors who had not watched the news, we'd been living under a legal rock. Who's saying this that? We've been living under a rock and heard nothing about it. We'll watch this and only see the testimony that's come into the new trial. We're going to try to keep all the drama at the door. We'd ask you guys in chat to do the same and try to view it as a juror, because that's what the juror's job is. It's going to be amazing. Please stay safe, stay weather aware. Thank you. This is terrible. It's not as bad as a forecast as last night or the night before. It's down a little bit, but still serious life-threatening storms out there. Please be aware. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again Monday morning with a little court hopping, a little action that we're recording right now, right here. Bing, bing, bing. We'll have that for you. Thanks, Josh, for that. We'll do a little court hopping, and then Tuesday we're going to return to this case of Linda Stermer up in Michigan. So have a good one. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Thank you, sir. You're my new best friend. I was kicked back, taking it easy.
I don't like photos, Your Honor.
It's bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than all.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.